Oh my god, I almost made it play twice. Okay. Hello everybody, it's me, Mia Fred again. Welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Utano Podcast, the only Utapri podcast by fans, for fans, at least that we know of right now. Because if you want to start your own podcast about Utapri, go for it. I just really like talking about Utapri. So today on the menu, we are going to be talking about Gekidan Shining again, and we are going to pick up where we left off from last time. And I've got my two guests here from last episode as well, or the last Gekidan Shining episode from episode 2, because last episode was episode 3. So if you could introduce yourselves, you can unmute and go ahead and introduce yourselves, guests. Whoever wants to go first.
Oh, I'm Ron.
Hi, I'm Mimi. I am excited to be back. I will try to be short and concise. I promise nothing, though. My predictions for the problem childs this episode, I feel, is going to be Bloody Shadows and Pirates of the Frontier. So, yeah, I'm excited to get to those two particularly. But yeah, hi, hello, good afternoon, good night, whoever's watching now or during the VOD. And yeah, Mina, let's go. What's going on with you?
A good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everybody watching, either live or on the VOD. I am Mina. I'm really excited to join Mia and Mimi tonight to get on with the Gekidan Shining. My best boys are coming on. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
I just realized we're all me, all of our names became
Triple
it is.
M.
triple M. It's like triple S, but
yeah.
M's. M is a really good
letter
to start with.
Mm.
If I do say so myself, as someone whose name starts with an M.
Yeah.
M's are just cool. I like M's.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we left off. Where did we leave off the last time?
So we finished off basically going over the main Gekidan Shining stages because there is the Gekidan Shining Company project as a whole, and then there's the Gekidan Shining series, which consists of Joker Trap, Shinobi, and Masquerade Mirage. We went over those three, and then we left off kind of in the transitory period between Gekidan Shining and what I will later introduce the Theater Shining stage plays, because the Theater Shining series is its own thing, but still under the Gekidan Shining project umbrella.
Okay. So that's where we're going to continue. Mimi has a presentation. Excuse me, like last time. Apologies in advance, everybody. I'm gonna eat my dinner while we're streaming, so I will be eating some pizza, but don't let that distract you. So okay, let me go ahead and share the screen.
Yeah.
Right here, and as y'all can see, now it's up on the screen. So. Whenever you're ready,
let's go travel back in time to April 23rd, 2018. So, as I was saying, we kind of left off in a transitory period with Gekidan Shining, the Gekidan Shining project. So now they're starting to do cool projects involving all three of the stages, which for April 23rd, it was the first day of the collaboration Gekidan Shining held with Karaoke no Tetsujin, which is a popular karaoke chain in Japan. The collaboration featured 3 special themed rooms, one for each of the stages, a collaborative menu offering trading coasters, and song challenges were also available during this period as well for different rewards. The themed rooms were spread across 3 different Karaoke no Tetsujin locations, and no one location had all 3 rooms, which is unfortunate, but probably because of the size of the venue, they could only dedicate 1 location per stage, and they could only be reserved online, and the theme rooms would have panels mounted on the walls decorated with pictures of the guys from the stage, and the table would also be decorated as well. The special drink menu was available at each theme location plus 2 additional ones, but the sweet sets were only available at each themed location. So there were 5 locations available for the drink menu, and then only the 3 themed ones for the sweets, like the actual cupcakes. And the drink menu offered 3 types of drinks, all non-alcoholic and themed after each of the stages. The Shinobi drink was a mix of cola and melon soda garnished with a cut lime. The Masquerade Mirage drink was a mix of crushed grape jelly, cassis syrup, blue curacao flavoring syrup garnished with a pocky stick, and blue nata de coco. The Joker Trap drink was a mix of wild berry and strawberry syrups, a cola base, and garnished with a mix of berries, probably like raspberries or blueberries as seen in the menu photo. And then each drink order came with a random coaster themed after the drink. So a Joker Trap drink order would come with a random of 4 Joker Trap coasters. And then the sweet sets offered 3 types of cup desserts themed after each of the stages, all of them titled after a song lyric. The Shinobi set was called Calling Out to the Invisible Iza, and was a matcha cake and a piece of white chocolate with the stage logo printed on it. The Masquerade set was called Tonight in the World of Dreams, and was a strawberry shortcake with a piece of white chocolate with the stage logo printed on it. And then the Joker Trap set was called The Final Secret Trap, and was a chocolate cake and a piece of white chocolate with the stage logo printed on it as well. And then each order of the set came with a group coaster. So an order of the Final Secret Trap came with a Joker Trap coaster of all of the guys. Guests would receive special room discounts with a valid ticket stub for a Joker Trap or Shining review show, and an order of a themed drink. And then they had the song challenge, as I previously mentioned, which if you sang the stage version of Shinobi, Masquerade Mirage, or Joker Trap and scored 100 points, you would win a complete set of the coasters from your preferred stage. And then scoring a double, so like scoring 99 points, 88 points, 77 points, won you a coaster of your choice. And
Incentive.
Yeah, incentive, which I wish I could have gone, but I was about to graduate high school.
That Joker Trip drink looks good.
No, honestly, out of the 3, bias aside, I would have gone for the Joker Trap drink and the Joker Trap cake. I'd
add some vodka to the Joker Trap drink to make it alcoholic. Yeah. Maybe like a vodka cranberry or something, you know?
Yeah, and for me, what I find it hilarious that anyone would willingly garnish a drink with a Pocky stick for the Masquerade Mirage drink. I was like, that was a choice, I guess, if you like very soggy stylistic Pocky.
Yes, that was the first image, yeah.
I feel like it get all sopping wet and kind of soggy.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I could try to figure out why they would garnish the drink with a Pocky stick, but I
guess if they had, had done something like whipped cream on top, you know how like thinking Starbucks does whipped cream, or the sweet cream cold foam. Put it on top of that. Sure, that kind of adds to the sweetness of all. But you're thinking about it. There's sweeteners and syrups and stuff in it. You're just gonna have like a soggy piece of Pocky and like probably like
soggy piece of Pocky. I know.
And like chunks of chocolate just floating in there. That's not.
It is so yummy, but yeah,
it's like you have to
I still don't
right
have
away after they make it.
Yeah, you have to, or just take it out
Or
immediately
just
after they
immediately
serve
take it
it to
out.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm still in the process of collecting the coasters. But hopefully, yeah, I hopefully eventually in the near future, I had to put a pause on my collecting for Gekidan Shining stuff because funds, you know. But hopefully in the future, I will end up completing the coaster set after I complete the bromides that I'm currently collecting. I have like a collection over like 200 bromides so far.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but yeah, so that was the karaoke collab. And moving down the timeline, April 30th, additional information and visuals for Shining Review, as previously mentioned during the collaboration. If you had a Shining Review ticket stub, you could get like a discount. Well, the show hadn't happened yet. But uh, they announced additional information, visuals, including the announcements of 4 new original songs, one for each of the groups, and then one for the entire troupe all together, like all 11 of them. And then on May 13th, 2018, Joker Trap has its final performance, which leads into, I believe, May, yeah, May 26th, 2018, which is when Shining has performance.
Ooh.
So basically, everyone makes a comeback for this. Everyone makes a comeback. Ren, Masanari, uh, Ueda, Shojiro, Hiroki, Someya, Mokun, Nosuke, Gaku, Alan, and Shuji. And the MC for the show was Akira Kubodera. And the thing, though, was that uh, everyone does make an appearance. Some of them does not make an appearance for the entirety of the shows, which I believe there were only like 4 or 5. Masanari was only able to attend the showing for the 26th of May, and then for Someya and Mokun, they couldn't actually physically be there. So what they did is they had the Masquerade Mirage guys film a music video, and the music video that they filmed was for the new song that they had created specifically for this production, which is called Nobody Knows. And I am so mad that they are the only ones with the music video because it is so good, and I feel like they all deserved their own music video, but obviously they were trying to make lemonade out of lemons. So I
Mhm.
understood why they only had the Masquerade Mirage guys do a music video. But in summary, this was a special show where the main cast across all 3 stages came together in celebration of the completion of the Gekidan Shining series. The first half of the show was dedicated to various games, each themed after one of the stages, and the second half was dedicated to performing the complete versions of the previous review songs up to that point, and also 4 new songs made especially for the occasion, which was so they performed from May 26th to the 27th, and then June 2nd, with a total of 6 performances. And then the songs were Cheers, An Invincible Life Story, Nobody Knows, Black or White, and then Shining Love with Love and Gratitude, which Shining Love, I believe, is Shining Love becomes a very important song, I think, in the history of Gekidan Shining. It I've said this before and I'll say it here. I believe Shining Love particularly to be the bridge that connects Gekidan Shining to the rest of the Udapri franchise. To me, it's such an Udapri sounding song. Like it fits and it blends so well. And I everyone that I've talked to that has heard this song is also the staff and actors as well have mentioned how uh meaningful this song becomes to them uh at the end of everything. And regarding the actual show itself, like the actual show, so the way that I have this scripted, because if you couldn't tell, I do have a script. Um, I
I love
kind of
scripts.
noted, yeah, I kind of noted where I wanted to do a free talk about the stage, and then I did write like notes on the script to like, like if I wanted to talk about something specific, right? For this one, all I wrote was they were fucking out of control, which they were
I think
fucking out of control. They
I think this is what I've seen clips of, like back in the day on like Tumblr. I think
Mhm.
this show is what I saw
Yeah.
clips of, which is why I was like, oh, when you mentioned it,
Yes.
like, and all I
Yeah.
knew about it was like, it's kind of like a trivia thing. Like that's what I remember seeing on
Yeah,
Tumblr,
yeah. So they do
little
game
snippets
show.
of.
Yeah, they do like their like game segments before the actual concert part of it. Um and they are very they're wild. They they work so well with each other. Like I have so much fun watching them have so much fun. It's that kind of experience. Um and I also really enjoy too, for this particular Shining review, they do the game portions in costume. Like they still refer to each other like as their actual names, but like they are in costume for the whole entirety of it. But and so it makes for very funny imagery sometimes. Uh Depending on like what shenanigans the guys are up to. And it's such a good time. It's a stage or a show or production that I find myself smiling the whole entire time. Like my cheeks are sore. My cheeks are absolutely sore by the end of watching the Shining review performances. And I mean, Mina, is there anything you would like to add or talk about in regards to Shining review particularly?
At this portion, I think you're doing very well in captivating my own emotions. They are, um, as you said it, they go hard, they go crazy,
They go
and
hard.
it's really
Yeah.
fun watching them all have fun and everything. You kind of just feel yourself in the audience. You start wishing that you had
Mhm.
gotten the chance to be there and enjoy it with them, and
Yeah.
everything. And it just gives you a really good showcase of how they all get along. It's really like
Yeah.
heartwarming getting to see that they're not just actors, but they're also very fond of one another, and you
To
can see the
work
closer
together, but
groups and
they
everything.
Nothing
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
nothing
Mhm.
beats live theater. Like it's just so fun, especially like
Yeah.
especially like
Yeah.
something like this where it's kind of like this is like
Yeah.
a different theater experience. I also think like because
Mhm.
you have like of course a normal play or a musical or even like an improv show or a
Mhm.
stand up or something stand up comedy thing,
Mhm.
but this is like it's like they're dressed like you said they're dressed as the characters but they're referring to each other by their like actual names,
Yeah.
so it's like kind of meta but also like oh no but they're like in
Yeah, like I said, that's why
their
like because
character.
they're in costume, it yeah, it creates for very funny moments for sure.
And yeah
Particularly it I this show I feel like it accomplished a lot of things. Obviously, like I said, it was produced as a celebration for completing all of the stages up to that point, and then, producing new songs specifically for each of the guys' groups. But I think this also really helped bolster a relationship between the actors themselves and the audience. And anyone else who may have been curious on Gekidan Shining, because they get to show more of themselves than ever before, um, on stage and in the setting of Gekidan Shining and Udupri as a franchise. Uh, so they do other things as well, as the actors themselves, but for the Shining reviews, I feel like they really do serve a a good job of making that connection, of like putting the last nail on the coffin of establishing themselves in the Udupri sphere. Um and like how for me, when it comes to Kamyu, there is obviously Mae no Tomoaki, but now for me there's also Shuji Kikuchi. Like, they are both Kamyu for me. So, um but yeah, I believe that is it on Shining Review, actually, because I mean, other than, yeah, they were literally fucking bouncing off the walls. They were so loud that they had to be shushed multiple times just so that the MC could get a word or comment out edgewise. Like, it's just so fun time.
It felt like
And
watching a bunch of
then
college boys kind of just hang out.
it felt like watching frat boys, like, just
Yeah.
hanging out
Just
and, like, sharing a laugh, and like
mhm.
it it I love how they, um for a moment, like, forgot about the audience and were just enjoying themselves and each other's company. And I feel like, while there is an appeal to fan service, and there's a lot of fan service in Shining Review, don't get me wrong, but just being able to see how much fun they were having with each other, it was infectious. It's infectious. So, it also caused me, at least, to have a lot of fun watching them. Um, and so, moving on to May 29th to June 1st, which, they had special screenings of each stage with a talk show arranged after the showing, including the main cast of each respective stage. And then June 2nd, Shining Review completed its scheduled performances and then had an announcement of the stage adaptation of Theater Shining. And Polaris was then revealed to be the first production in the lineup, with the publishing of the website. And as for what is Theater Shining in general, the boys are now headed for cinemas. Theater Shining was originally a project where the Shining Agency boys would now be divided into 4 groups, and each made to quote unquote film a movie. Like with the previous project, they were also responsible for performing their respective groups' films' theme song. CDs were produced with the title and drama tracks. The first run limited edition sets also came with a theater brochure, script, replica ticket, and a B2 size poster. The first CD in the series was Blues, released in November of 2015, then Pirates of the Frontier and Everybody in December of the same year, and the last CD in the lineup was Polaris in January of 2016. And then on July 9th, 2018, the Polaris cast and visuals were revealed. July 26th, the Gekidan Shining costume exhibit in Ikebukuro Marui opens to the public. And the costume exhibit was exactly what it sounds like. It was a exhibit they had an exhibit at a dedicated event space where guests could walk through it for free, and view various stage props, posters, and costumes worn by the actors both during the play and review portions of the productions, and exclusive bromide sets were printed and sold during the exhibition. Um, and that brings us to September September 13th, which is when Polaris has its first performance. And for Polaris, and directed by Hosaka Yo, music again by Elements Garden, and the cast this time was Yunosuke Matsumura coming back for Tokia Ichinose, Shojiro Jokoi coming back for Cecil Aijima, and Soichiro Yamakawa for Natsuki Shinomiya. Unfortunately, Hiroki Tagawa from Masquerade Mirage was unable to come back for Polaris, so they had to recast him with Soichiro for Polaris. And the rest of the cast would be Laplace Carlson with Mashu Ishiwatari, Shuhei Izumi was Angle Kashiwagi, was Leg Star Sakuraba, and Yuya Asato was Hiro Sunnyline. And the summary for Polaris was the distant future. The Earth was threatened with annihilation by enemy, an intergalactic invader. Mankind, to protect Earth from enemy, produced humanoid weapons, humanoid arms, and in order to train the pilots boarding these crafts, founded Earth Defense Organization, Shining Universe. Shining Universe top team consists of pilot candidates Tokia Ichinose, Natsuki Shinomiya, and Cecil Aijima. Under the guidance of Commander-in-Chief Engelberg Ichinose, the team trained together but fight amongst themselves, failing to cooperate with each other until one day a new pilot cadet, Hiro Sunnyline, was assigned to the team. Following Hiro's addition to the group, the three faced their individual feelings and conflicts head on. The second team, led by Legstar Sakuraba, is also assigned a new pilot cadet named Laplace Carlson. Shining Universe is abuzz with the admission of these new students. In the midst of all of this, something unusual begins to take place, unnoticed in a remote part of the school. And in the face of such a powerful threat, the pilot cadets will discover what it is they truly fight for and what it is they want to protect. When they recognize the things that are most important to them, they will realize the true meaning of strength. Now, Polaris was from September 13th to the 23rd, and then October 5th through the 8th. And there was a total of 20 performances completed. The songs for this particular stage was their version of Polaris, Galaxy Symphony, which was with all of the three, Alive, which is a Tokia solo, Starmate, which is Natsuki Cecil duet, and then their version of Shining Love. And when it comes to talking about Polaris, the one note that I wrote in for myself was that I remember crying through the last half of the stage when I watched it for the first time, which this stage I believe is roughly about 2 hours long. And for the entirety of the last hour of it, I was in shambles. I was in tears. I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I was distraught. And
Oh my god.
I needed a lot of water after
Oh my god,
watching
what goes
Polaris
on?
for the
What
first
happens in
time.
this? Now I have to watch this.
And for the next few showings or the next few times I watched Polaris after that, like I still cried for the last hour. I've gotten to the point where I can sometimes tough it up, but even now, rewatching the last hour of this stage is just so it hits home. This is not a spoiler, obviously, because if you caught the cast, the original characters' names, we have Engelberg Ichinose, right? Which yes, Engelberg is Tokia's father.
I was gonna
And
say,
what do we
okay,
know
so look,
about
his
Tokia
dad.
Ichinose? That is his dad, yes. And what do we know about Tokia Ichinose, the character? He does not have the best relationship with his father. So that kind of gets reflected in Polaris a little bit, gets translated into Polaris a little bit, and obviously just as a relationship between the two themselves, and then also obviously with all of the how do you say it, like all of the pressures that Tokia puts on himself, the goals he sets for himself, and the trials he has to go through to achieve those goals that he himself set for himself, that nobody else did but he put on himself. It makes for a very it just it's so Tokia Ichinose in Polaris is the most Tokia Ichinose Tokia gets in any of these stages. Like
My poor boy,
it
man.
it's like Polaris Tokia is, to me, a like reflection of season 1 anime, and even like early debut route Tokia
Oh,
Ichinose. Like
jeez.
we are that
Oh,
in the
God.
trenches
Oh
when
my
it
God.
comes
Okay,
to Tokia and Polaris.
then if I watched, I want to watch all of these. So when I get to this,
Yeah.
oh my God, I will. I'm a crier, everybody. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, and
Mm,
dude, the first time I watched season 1 of the anime, I cried like through
yeah.
all of like Tokyo's shit. So I'm definitely gonna cry watching this.
Yeah, and let's talk about Shojiro for a second, actually. Mr. Cecil Aijima. Shojiro is a talented actor. Shojiro is very talented as Cecil. His best acting performance, his best scene is in this stage. And this scene was performed so well that I was like, if this guy does not come back for Black Hood in Licorice, I am going to go to Broccoli HQ and I'm going to do something unimaginable in front of someone to change the trajectory of their lives, to make sure that like they need to bring him back. Like I there it's he's so good. He's just
You just schedule it
I
all around
like
him.
Yes.
yeah, like it's he his Cecil. It's like he and Cecil are one, they are best friends. I there's he sounds like Cecil. I One of the things that I really do enjoy when watching other people's first reactions to seeing Polaris or any of the stages really is when they say, "Oh my god, they sound like X voice actor. They sound um like they really do sound like Cecil." And Shojiro is one of the few actors in the Gekidan Shining repertoire who sounds, particularly when singing, like Toriumi, which is very impressive. Um and I love him so much. He Cecil in the grand scope of Polaris is, yeah, like again, what do we know about Cecil Aijima as a character, as the Udapri character?
A
You know,
foreigner.
he's a foreigner. So
Mhm.
you can only make assumptions of how that gets translated into here, particularly with the existence of enemy. And that is as far as I will bring that discussion.
Here is
Uh,
Maya's comments on here on this. You will laugh, cry, and die in every way possible, and probably not
No,
die.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. That's it.
yep.
And
Polaris
then
Tokyo is season 1
season
Tokyo, yep. Mhm. Mhm.
I really want to watch all of these now,
Yeah.
but I'll get into like that later on in terms of
Yeah.
like watching
Yeah,
it
no.
and reacting to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um and when it comes to Soichiro as Natsuki, he does a really good job of Natsuki. I really enjoy his performance. He's a very you can see Natsuki in his Natsuki. Let's say that. he's much more of a straight character in Polaris. He is more subdued than the Natsuki that people tend to know, aka anime Natsuki. Like, he's not bouncing off the walls or anything like that, but he definitely is still very amiable. He still has a warmness to him that is very reminiscent of Natsuki Shinomiya, and I really enjoy him. And like with the other two, what do we know about Natsuki Shinomiya as an Urupri character? He has Satsuki, right? And that also does get translated into Polaris. So
Oh
I
man.
will also cut it that there. And that's as far as I will go into spoiler territory, if I could even call it that. Uh, and hopefully whenever you get to watch Polaris, that you do enjoy it, because it is a very it's a good play. It's a good play.
It's
And also,
definitely. Oops,
go ahead.
go on.
No, go.
I was just gonna say that in terms of the Gekidan Shining, like uh dramatics, this is
Mm.
definitely one of the top up there.
Mm.
There's another one that does come along a little bit later, but this one is definitely up there. Basically, if you're a Natsuki Cecil or Tokyo Stan and you're gonna take a watch, just be prepared.
Mm.
Have your tissues ready. It's a really enjoyable play, but also,
Get some
they do touch
water.
on, yeah, get some
Yeah.
water, take a
Oh man.
breath, don't
Oh
force yourself
jeez.
or anything. Um, enjoy it because it's a
Mm.
really good play, but also,
Yeah, it
take
does
care of
get really
yourself.
intense though. Yeah, no, it does
So,
really like with Masquerade Mirage. I know how in Masquerade Mirage I kind of gave the advisory, Masquerade Mirage does have depictions of physical violence. And when I say physical violence or physical abuse, obviously you have your fight scenes, right? Which I don't really consider those to need warning, because, kind of like in an action movie. In an action
mhm.
movie
Yeah.
you expect there to be fighting.
It's
But in
choreographed.
yeah, but for Masquerade Mirage, like when I say that there's depictions of physical abuse, like there is a character who, you know, does abuse one of the main casts on stage, as, like that is the relationship between the two. And there's also for Masquerade Mirage, I forgot to mention, a lot of suicide ideation and a lot of not graphic, but there is a suicide attempt as well. Um,
Oh.
so with
Yeah, it's
Polaris,
definitely with some
yeah,
dead. That's why, the warning, kind of just take care of yourself first.
yeah,
We have only you. We can
yeah,
always take some time to watch this on another day. So take care of yourself first
right.
before going
And for
into something that
Polaris,
could.
there's yeah, and for Polaris particularly, um, I think the worst that it gets is again during the last hour of the stage, and it's just it's there's physical violence. There's a fighting that breaks out, and there's a lot of that, but it gets very emotionally intense and emotionally suffocating, maybe sometimes for some people that
Mm.
are sensitive to certain things. So yeah, just for this one, just take care and take it at your own pace, but it's a really good stage. um and I believe after that we go over to October 3rd, which is when the first episode of Tabby Mate airs on TV. Now, Tabby Mate, as I had mentioned during Shining Review, how I was like, oh, Shining Review does a good job of like introducing the actors themselves to the audience. Tabby Mate now is a project that branches off of Gekidan Shining, the Gekidan Shining project, that really does really push the actors as themselves to the Udapri audience, which Tabimate was a travel program that included most of the Gekidan Shining main and side cast in promotion of the Gekidan Shining project. It also seemed to serve as a way for those interested in the stages to get to know the actors a little bit more intimately. The first season sent Ozawa, Ren, and Shojiro to Hong Kong and Macau. Mokun, Ueda, Masanari, and Nosuke all went to Hawaii. And as previously mentioned, yeah, Joker Trap had yet to be announced to the public at the time of filming Tabimate, so they had to film a special edition with just the Joker Trap for in which they were sent to Okinawa for that one. And
They really like to go to
yeah,
places
Tabimate.
like Macau and Hawaii.
Yeah. They sent like
Like,
almost all of them to Hawaii, like
I
both
mean,
like Hong
it's a
Kong, Macau, Hawaii, and then Okinawa. So kind of like they didn't go. At least the Joker Trap guys didn't go very far, but they did send some of the other ones abroad.
it's like
Technically.
Macau is one of those places where it's so random, but then like when you watch a lot of K dramas and stuff, and they're always rich, they always go to Macau too. It's just there's just like a big, like I'm
Yeah.
serious, like like both two different K dramas that I really like that I've watched. They both went to the same resort in Macau, and like one was from
Two
one is
completely
from like
unrelated dramas. That's
yes,
funny.
two completely unrelated dramas. Have nothing to do with each other. They went to the same resort in Macau, and I watched one, and then I watched the other, and I was like, oh my god, that's the same one. Did they all just go here? So I guess it's like that's like a very big touristy place
Yeah,
in
very
like
popular.
in Asia.
Yeah.
Because that's, I
Yeah.
mean, it's close. You don't have to travel that far, I guess, if you're in Japan or South Korea
Yeah,
or
and this was the first
China.
time they did this because the Tabimate does make a comeback for season 2, quote unquote, and they do send some of two of them to Italy of all places. So
Ooh,
they do
fancy.
get more of a budget. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which actually I forgot to mention in Polaris, you can tell the budget was increased exponentially for the theater shining
It's because so many
stages
people bought
part
tickets
of
to the
it.
other ones, so they
I
made so
which
much
it
money.
made me so happy to see the increase in stage like set. Like they for Polaris particularly because it's a sci-fi stage, it's a sci-fi setting. They did a lot of playing with a lot of visual effects and also a lot of what do you call it like like lights, like a lot of light show stuff. And oh, there's a word that is in my head that like a projections. There we go. Like
Mm.
projections, light shows, and kind of a
Ooh,
more like visual effects.
do they eventually do the whole like thing that people at concerts do now, where they have just the big screens in the background that have a bunch of stuff? Because
Yes, they do have.
every concert I've gone to
They,
like the past like 5 years have all those like big screens.
I don't think they have a screen, but they do have a projection. So like
Hmm.
sometimes they'll bring down something and project, but I don't think they don't have quite the budget for a screen.
They haven't gotten the screens yet. I'm sure they
Just
will
yet,
in the
but
future. They'll get the screen.
but for the projection, yes. And then October 21st, 2018, Shinobi aired on TV for the first time. So now the other Gekidan Shining stages have now begun to start being aired on TV, with Shinobi being the first one on October 21st of 2018. And then December 19th, 2018, Pirates and website is updated. The January 2nd, 2019, the special recording of Tabimate, including the Joker Trap cast, airs on TV. And then March 14th, Tarashi attends the media
Oh my
preview
god!
For Pirates, the man, the myth, the legend
The man
himself
himself.
went to go see Pirates of the Frontier. Yep, he sure did.
Oh
He
my god,
sure
that's
did.
sick.
And Tarashi wrote a blog detailing his visit to the media preview of Pirates, where he described his excitement at finally being able to attend a stage play that had been adapted from a work he participated in. Um, he then proceeded to talk in awe about the differences in the stage play adaptation of Pirates, like the addition of new characters, and finds the direction Udapri was developing in to be amazing. He did confirm he met with the main cast and praised their performances, was happy to meet all of them, and he mentioned how beautiful everyone looked. He then took time to promote the stage on his blog and wished the cast and staff a safe run and that he was rooting for them, and that he ended the blog by saying the event caused him to rewatch Fifth Stage and the nostalgia trip that came from it before signing off.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
And so,
that's so cute.
yeah, yeah,
That
and
must
so
be like the
I,
coolest feeling ever. Like going to a show based off of something that you were in, like previously, and it's like, oh my god, like that's my
yeah.
character. But like he's right there, like on the stage. Oh my god,
Yeah,
like
right,
that's so
right.
cool.
No, exactly. And I feel like this was also a turning point in the Gekidan Shining timeline in that now we have a Seiyu being involved in the project, if anything as an audience member. And obviously we are not going to expect Tarashi to be like, oh, this is horrible or blah 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 blah. But he also could have just not gone. He could have just never gone. He could have never talked about it. But he did, and he chose to come by, and he chose to see it and meet all of the guys. And it, for me, as somebody who really adores Gekidan Shining as a project, this was obviously a day that I never forgot. The memory of seeing on Twitter that Tarashi went to see Pirates.
Ooh, that's
It's like
from
definitely one of the bigger monumental
2019. Oh my god,
moments. Yeah.
that's crazy. That's
And
so cool.
yeah, and this will not be the last time that we get encounters like this.
Oh, I can't wait
But
to see who
uh
shows up next.
yeah. But March 15th, 2019 is when we finally have the first showing of Pirates, which this
Well, that's
time
cool.
Pirates was written and directed by Naohiro Ise, music's again by Elements Garden. Then we obviously have the cast of Ren Ozawa as Ikki, Alan Kohatsu coming back for Malraux, and then Shuji Kikuchi coming back for the White Devil. The original characters for this stage were Kentaro Araki as Captain Red, Takuya Kawaharada as Meat Market Joe, Daisuke Kikuta as Smith, and Naoya Gomoto as the Wandering Pirate.
Meat Market Joe.
The summary for this yeah. And
That's
the summary for this stage
hilarious.
was a ship sails across the sea, carried by the wind and bathed in the rays of the shining sun. Its young captain Ikki travels together with his cook and bodyguard Malraux in search of his estranged father, the legendary pirate Red Angel. While searching for clues in a port town, Ikki meets an easygoing and good-natured wandering pirate. The two immediately hit it off and he joins Ikki's crew. Meanwhile, Ikki receives a tip that the White Devil, rumored to be a ruthless and merciless pirate, has ties to the Red Angel's past. The White Devil, accompanied by his capable servant Smith, appears after Ikki and his crew attempt to make contact with him. A third ship, led by Captain Red, also approaches. Meat Market Joe, who is Malraux aboard the vessel. Ikki is taken aback at the sight of Captain Red, his appearance just like that of the Red Angel he'd been looking for. The story of the bond between men brought together by destiny begins now. And the run for this particular stage was from March 15th to the 24th and April 5th through the 7th. The songs for this one were their version of Pirates of the Frontier, Have a Nice Pirates, which was with all three of them, A Worthy Rival, which was a duet between Malraux and the White Devil, and Say Hello My Bestie, which was a solo with Icky, and then their version of Shining Love. Um, Something that I forgot to mention with Polaris, and I'll say it with this one particularly because it's also relevant. So, in terms of like Udapri quote unquote canon, these are retellings of the original drama CDs. So you know how we had Masquerade Mirage as the sequel to the drama CD, and then we had Joker Trap as the prequel to the drama CD. Well, Polaris and Pirates so far are just complete retellings of the original drama CD. So they technically have no connection other than they used the same characters and then just added onto it and expanded on it to make it a stage production. Um Oh, okay. So I was looking at my notes for this one, which I had written, need to make an addendum. I said Joker Trap is in my top 3. I lied. Why? Because I forgot about Pirates of the Frontier, which is true. At the time of talking about my top 3 stages, I did forget about Pirates of the Frontier. And so technically, that would make Joker Trap my 4th favorite, and Pirates of the Frontier would be my second, I believe. So Pirates second. Oh no, Masquerade Mirage. Well, yeah. So Masquerade Mirage second, Pirates of the Frontier third, Joker Trap fourth. Wait, no. Polaris fourth, Joker Trap fifth. So yeah, I really enjoy Pirates of the Frontier. They do a really good job. Hmm. Where do I want to start with Pirates of the Frontier? So this one is not as heavy as the other stages like Masquerade Mirage or Polaris, but that does not make it any less like pulling at heartstrings, heartwarming, just absolutely abound with emotion. Um, I also have to mention that I believe this performance of Camus is my favorite of the two communes between Joker Trap and Pirates of the Frontier. I really, really, really like Shuji's portrayal in adaptation of the White Pirate or the White Devil slash uh Camus. And Pirates of the Frontier also has my favorite original character of all of them, which
Yeah.
is Smith. I think because Smith is just very me coded, you know. And if you watched Pirates of the Frontier, you know why I say that. But I love Smith. He's so fucking funny. He's so pretty too, and
Mhm.
also he's very relatable. I really like Smith. Personally, he's my favorite original character of all of the original characters that came out of these stages. Um, Pirates. If you
Yes.
are sensitive
Oh,
and
we're
prone to
crying.
crying, get those tissues ready because there are some really, again, there's nothing intense like Polaris or um Masquerade Mirage, but this hits a spot that is just, it hits different. Like it's so
Yeah.
it's like, how do I summarize it? I think, what was it? Um like, maybe the journey was not to find Icky's biological father, but to realize the fathers that were with him all along. Like, that,
The
I
fathers
feel,
we made along the
summarizes
way.
Pirates.
Oh my
Yeah,
god! And again,
exactly.
like you said, they're
That's
tying in like the
mhm.
characters stuff. Like Whose father do we not know? Who's his father? Oh, it's Otoya's father. We don't know who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Except
And
we do know.
so, except we do know, but they don't know. But yeah, I did remember. Okay, so during one of the showings, well, let's start this way. There is a scene where Malro is like, he's not the main focus of the scene. It's like Icky, I believe, is retelling something to another character in regards to like Malro. Like he's talking about Malro, and this causes a scene with Malro kind of like to stage right. He has a sack with him, and he pulls out food, like ingredients, because he's the cook. And during one of the stages, the Joker Trap guys, Nosuke and Gaku, they went to go see pirates, and during that particular showing, in the sack, the Malro was shifting through and grabbing like out of the sack. He grabbed the pumpkin, and I forget what purple vegetable he ended up getting out, but he made sure to get out an orange and a purple vegetable from his sack during the
Easter egg.
show that Nosuke and Gaku were going to
That's
be
cute.
an audience for. And then there's also another stage or another show where he pulled out a bunch of bananas.
Because banana is perfect.
I believe it was the one that was for the DVD. I believe it was the DVD recording where he pulls out the bunch of bananas. But yes, he does pull out the bunch of the bananas. He gives them a little kiss, and then he very contentedly puts them back in the sack and then walks off stage.
Oh my god, that's like it's those little moments of like doing plays and stuff, of like being a character in the like on the side or in the background while like people are talking in the middle of the stage is like the most fun. It's so funny because like just to go on a little tangent, but I always, because I work with kids, so like, one of the things that I always tell them, like as a director, like I'll always tell my cast, like, the bigger you are, like I'd rather to tell you to like bring it down a little bit than like have to go bigger. So it sounds like he's going like really big. When I mean big, like he's like very exaggerated and stuff on stage. But like I always tell my cast, like someone is always gonna be watching you. Doesn't matter who. Yes. Not everyone in the audience is gonna focus on like the people talking, because it's like your friends are gonna come see you, your parents, your grandparents, like people are gonna go just to watch you. So like you always have to be like on top of your game. Like you can't be,
like just because you're not at the forefront, just because you're not at the forefront of the stage, and you're not the one engaging in a dialogue or a monologue, and there are other characters on stage, like technically, like the world doesn't stop just because you are not at the center of the attention. So I also really do enjoy, obviously these are professional actors, they know what they're doing, but it's still very nice to see. That's like, especially so during the recordings, like seeing what always the best they're doing in the background. And like what interactions you can catch. Yeah.
Because you can go back and watch it, and it's like, okay, I've already watched the main people talking already in the recording. Right. Like, this is my second time watching. I'm going to watch what everyone else is doing like on the sides. Yeah. And like, as an actor yourself, it's like, if I'm the main person on stage talking, like, and I'm watching a recording, I'm not going to pay attention to what I'm doing on stage. I'm going to be like, ooh, what was so-and-so doing, like, on the side?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Like, and like, I really like that you mentioned, like, he pulls out like an orange fruit and a purple one, because he knows that people specifically are going to be there. Like, that is like, that's peak theater kid for sure. Of like, oh my god, I know so people are going to come. Oh my god, it's like, hey, director, can I like add this thing into like the show just for tonight? Because I have people coming to see me, and they would think it's really funny, and also it would work with my character. So like, can I please do that? Like, I'm always for that as long as you ask me, obviously. But I just like I love that. That's so great. It's like that is the most like theater kid thing ever, like, or one of the most theater kid things ever. So I just love that, like, even in professional theater, guys, you can be kind of silly and go off a little bit and have fun. As long as it makes, my thing is like, as long as it makes sense with your character, you can. It's okay.
It also gives the audience a little treat too, because I'm sure there are people who went to see multiple showings of
every time
stage. Yeah.
Like, because when you have people come see it like all the time, like your family and stuff. God, I don't know how many times my parents had seen me do, a certain show a million times. Like, they would always find like different things that they would like every show. So yeah, it's like a little treat for like the audience, because again, someone is gonna be watching that person and not pay attention to the rest of the show. So like, you gotta like do something fun, or like something that only like, because that means you're also a really good actor too, because you're in character. Like, that's super in character. He would take the bananas and like mix them and put the
back in the bag. And another that as you were talking, I remembered there is a scene in Joker Trap where it's at the very like beginning of the stage. They're still trying to explain the scene without going spoilers. Which it's it's at the beginning of the stage. The four of them are kind of talking. The four of them are not talking. I believe Tokia is talking, and he's talking to I believe either Kamu or Ron or both, but Ren. He is, so they kind of decide to split to search the room that they're in, but the focus is obviously supposed to be on Tokia. Ren, if you notice, he walks to stage left where there is a like a pool table, like a billiard table,
billiards table.
Yeah, you know, like yeah. And he grabs a card from the table, looks at it, and then very discreetly tucks it into his breast pocket. Now, that card ends up becoming very important later on in the stage, and you can see the moment he picks that card up to later use in the later parts of the stage. And if you had not been paying attention during that specific moment when he was doing that, you would be like, where did he get that card from? But he showed you. If you were looking, you would have seen him picked up the card to use later on in the stage. And I was like, it was so good. But yeah, that was one of the examples that I remembered when you were talking about how the world does not stop when this attention is not on you. Like, what would your character do when the focus is elsewhere?
So like, someone's always watching, but you don't know who it is, so you kind of have to like, you gotta stay in character, because as soon as you get off stage, obviously you can like, you've seen those TikToks of like, there's a guy who does the like what people in theater actually do when they walk off stage. Like, it literally is that, but like, you know, it's really cool. Like, I cannot wait to watch these, because I'm gonna be like, my little theater kid / director heart is just gonna go like, I'm gonna like gush like at like the production design and be like, oh my god, I wish I had something like that, or oh my god, that was like so good, oh my god, that staging was so good. So I'm like so excited to be able to watch these.
They obviously, with the Udapri characters themselves, like Ranmaru and Kamyu, if you know certain things about them, obviously that also gets reflected into Malraux and White Devil. And particularly with Kamyu, there is a new element of his origin character that gets added to the character of the White Devil, um, that is and so it was really cool to see how they worked with that and how Shuji portrayed that part of a Kamyu, and I just love him so much. I love him so much. He's so good. But anyway, Mina, anything you would like to add before I move on?
Pirates is in fact in my top
Oh.
3. I adore the stage. There's just so much
Mm-hmm.
about it. I definitely am thinking about rewatching it very soon, just because it's brought up like all the feelings that I
Mm-hmm.
did get when I watched it for the first time. I miss the characters a lot. I miss the dynamic that they had on stage and everything. So I will probably find some time very soon to go rewatch that and re-experience that again because it's been a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess also to add, if people are in the Sao Tome Academy Discord, I believe every other weekend, I am streaming the stages for people to watch. And I believe next time so not next week, but the week after, I will be streaming Pirates. So if you're not already in the Sao Tome Academy Discord and you do want to watch Pirates, I will be streaming it not next Saturday, but the Saturday after that. Um, and
Ooh,
I believe
might have to make time for that.
that there's it's this tomorrow actually I'm going to be streaming Bloody Shadows in the morning, and then in the afternoon it'll be dedicated to everybody, and then next time will be everybody in the morning and then Pirates in the afternoon. But moving on further down the timeline, we go over to April 7th, which is when Pirates has its final performance and everybody is announced and the main cast is revealed. July 26th, 2019 is when the everybody visuals are revealed and the website is updated. And all 4 current Gekidan Shining productions were then announced to air on TV uh, for 4 consecutive months starting in August. Um, and then October 2nd, 2019, everybody's collaboration with Navi Time was announced, which is what is Navi Time. Gekidan Shining organized a collaboration between everybody and Navi Time, a Japanese travel app akin to Google Maps, where for a certain period of time, people could download an everybody theme to decorate their app with. There would also be, for a limited time, shortcuts in the app to direct you from your location to one of the 2 theaters staging everybody for free. And then October 4th was when the first episode of Tabimate Season 2 aired on TV, which, again, Tabimate Season 2 kept the same format as the original Tabimate, where they would send some of the guys off to different locations and kind of just record them vibing on vacation. And this time, the participants were Someya and Ueda, who were sent to Italy, and then Nosuke, Gaku, Alan, and Shuji, who stayed in Japan but were sent to Hokkaido. Um, and October 12th of 2019 is when everybody has its first performance. Directed by Hitomori, music by Elements Garden, and the cast is we have Toshiyuki Somaya returning for Lazy and Ueda Keisuke returning for Sho. And the original cast for this particular stage was Taizo Shina as Kazuki, Akira Kubodera as Nakatsugawa, Mitsuru Karashi as Sayonji, Naoki Saito as Naomichi, and Kenta Segawa as Kagayama. And the summary for everybody is, I believe, if I go here, it will be Sho, a rookie detective, is assigned to the criminal affairs division he had always yearned to join, brimming with hopes and dreams. Shortly after being hired, he is assigned to be buddies with an unmotivated senior detective, Reiji, who was far from ideal. Sho resents this attitude of his, but with the help and advice of his supervisor, Nakatsugawa, and colleague Naomichi, he learns from the experience. Then, one day, a police officer is suddenly kidnapped. A video posted to a website displayed a mysterious message. It was something reminiscent of Saionji, who Reiji had once arrested together with his former buddy Kazuki. The members of the Criminal Affairs Division sense someone is on the move, and so another case arises. And the dates for this one were from October 12th to the 14th and October 17th through the 21st, with a total of 13 performances completed. The songs for this stage was their version of Everybody, One in Body in Mind Buddy Spirit, which was a duet between the both of them, Just As All Win, which was also a duet between the both of them, and then their version of Shining Love. Everybody is not my favorite stage, but it has one of the most killer soundtracks and review songs of all of them. And it is very dangerous for me to be listening to any of the songs off of this stage play while driving, because
Oh,
I will pull a
makes
Fast
you
and
want to
the
drive
Furious if I'm
crazy.
listening. Exactly. It's so fucking good. But like I said, even though it's not one of my particular favorites, it's still a very fucking good production. This one also, I believe, I would say, is a little bit more on the intense side. Um, I would say that yeah, people who are sensitive to suicide ideation also, proceed with caution when it comes to watching Everybody. If you know anything about Reiji Kotobuki as a character,
Oh God.
then you can guess
Hmm.
how Reiji in and also I just noticed the typo, but Reiji in the Everybody stage, how he is, and stuff, and his
That
backstory.
that
And
poor man.
I know they don't
Like,
give him a
my
break.
God.
It makes
Y'all
me so
like
sad.
Broccoli, y'all make
His
him the oldest. Y'all make him the one with like
eh,
the saddest backstory. And then like you make his
yeah.
personality like opposite, even though it's like clearly this man is hurting and nobody does anything about it. Jesus.
Yeah, it's really, I really feel for Reiji, and it's one thing. It's one thing to listen to drama tracks with Reiji. It's one thing to play the games. It's one thing to watch the anime. But seeing Someya on stage as Reiji is just, and then seeing what he goes through, it like I my best friend, when we first watched Masquerade Mirage for the first time, or when I showed him the poster for Masquerade Mirage, or like sometime after, he had mentioned to me, um and at the time he was still new to Udapri, but at the time he'd mentioned to me how, if at that point in time there was any of the actors who, if a character were to step out of the screen, it would be them. Someya Toshiyuki was the one. My best friend was like, he is like Reiji stepped out of the screen and into the real world. And I could not agree more. In not only in just the ability to perform, but also an appearance as well. And so um when you're entertained and when you're very captivated by the performance and the show itself, it really is just a different experience to see that character live in that world and have that affection for that. It's magnificent. I love Someya as Reiji, and like I just need him to also come back for SMS and play the White Rabbit, because he would be killer. And same thing with Ueda. Um, this is the most show character of both Shonosuke and Show from everybody. Um, and it's really sweet, it's really endearing. Um, he's just he's just a hyper Genki guy, and he's just ready to do a good job and be a good partner for Reiji, and doesn't shy away from anything. And I really enjoy him as Sho. Um, particularly for the stage, it's really good. It's just it's just really good. Mina, is there anything you'd like to say in regards to everybody, or?
This is unfortunately one of the only ones that I haven't gotten a chance to watch.
Mm.
So I don't really have much to say on everybody regards, but I
Oh.
do like the I have, seen the trailer and stuff that the media put out when it was
Mhm.
um during the run and everything. So
Mhm.
eventually I'm looking forward to getting the chance to watch this. I just has not come up yet,
Haven't.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
So heartbreaking
Uh,
because I do enjoy seeing
yeah.
Reiji and
Which
Shoal
again,
that,
I am. Uh, yeah. No. Um. Like, what's something else I could say about everybody? It's just good, as I've mentioned with
Do
literally
they
almost
drive?
every stage.
Uh,
I am
do
like,
they
is
drive a
just
car?
good.
Do they drive a car on
There's no
stage?
car. No.
Oh damn it!
No, there's no
When I
car.
think of
But
everybody,
there
I think of the live stage where
the
they drive a
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
car on the
the
stage.
stage,
Like
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, that'd
There
be really cool. Do they do that here?
yeah. No, there's no car, but there is a mascot, Peace Coon, um, who
Oh,
makes an appearance during the stage, both as like an actual wearable mascot, and also as a plush, in which Reiji, during a moment where Sho is trying to get him to be not Reiji, takes the Peace Coon plush and tries to suffocate it between his laptop, and it's really funny. Yeah,
it's
like Reiji, he needs some help. He does need some help. Um, but he comes around. He comes around. He faces his past, and a show is there for him, and he realizes the safety net that he does have to fall back on. And so uh, things do turn up for him. But yeah, Reiji is definitely one of the more serious and depressing Reijis of them all. And I believe the next one. So we do have a bit of a time jump to go through this time, um, which on October 21st, everybody has its final performance. October 26th, there's a fan meeting with Someya and Ueda and Gaku and Nosuke for Tabimate Season 2. January 25th, Tabimate airs on TV. Um, or well, not on TV, but on Nippon Teleplus specifically. Then February 16th, Bloody Shadows is announced for
right.
sometime later 2020.
And we all
And that
know
is
what
literally
happened.
all they announced.
We don't
Is yeah. So
we don't need to say what happened.
you
Everyone knows
know,
what happened.
there's a we don't need to yeah. So for
The
Bloody
whole world's
Shadows, it
kind of imploded.
unfortunately came at a very bad time for the world. Yeah, and unlike where with every past stage announcement, like they've announced more than just a date. They'll usually announce locations and cast and whatever, etc. But for Bloody Shadows, all they literally announced on February 16th was that it was happening. that it was happening and that it was gonna be in sometime later 2020. And they did also mention the cities they were gonna be performing in, but that is it. That is all we knew about Bloody Shadows at the time. And I remember specifically where I was when the announcement went live. I was eating with my mom. I was out eating with my mom, and I just about like had a very loud reaction in the middle of that restaurant and had to explain to my mom why I had the expression I did on my face. Um, but moving on from February 16th, March 30th, Polaris aired on TV for the first time, and then August 8th, 2020, the entire Gekidan Shining series up to that point went on demand. September 14th, 2020, Bloody Shadows cast and visuals are revealed. Finally, Jesus Christ, that was agony because obviously from February to September, we were like, who's coming back? Oh my God. Like, is any of them gonna come back? Are we gonna get only some of them coming back? Like, what is Bloody Shadows going to look like?
how is this even gonna
And
happen?
yeah, exactly. And then all of the questions were then answered because on November 5th, 2020, Bloody Shadows has its first performance. Now, Bloody Shadows was written by Hosakayo but directed by Akiko Kodama, and music was written by Elements Garden. The cast this time is Hiroki Nakada as Masaferi, Gaku Takamoto makes his return for Warren, and Yusuke Akiba for Eyeless. Now, the original characters for this stage were Masakazu Nemoto as Homer, Takuya Kishimoto as Jonathan, Kodai Miyagi as Theodore, and Ryota Hirono as Reinhardt. The summary for this particular stage was to protect his beloved, Mossaferi chooses to sacrifice himself to the darkness. Along with Warren and Eyeless, he embarks on an eternal journey. The three of them arrive in the woods one day and encounter brothers Jonathan and Reinhardt, who had been living in hiding. When Mossaferi hears that their father is living a normal life after being attacked by vampires, he finds himself hopeful that this may be some kind of special power. Just then, Homer, the father of all vampires, believed to have been in a deep slumber, emerges from the shadows. With his faithful servant Theodore in his possession, Homer is intent on destroying mankind to establish a world dominated by vampires. Mossfairy now seeks for a way that both humans and vampires can coexist in his vision. Eyeless, however, is adamant that there's no such way for it to come to fruition. At the mercy of their fates as vampires and amidst the conflict of their different ideals, what answers will they find? Bloody Shadows ran from November 5th through the 8th and November 19th to 23rd and had a total of 14 performances completed. The songs for this stage were their version of Bloody Shadows, The Lights in the Shadows with all three of them, Daylight Prayer, which was a Mossaferi solo, Good Night Our Night, which was a duet between Eyeless and Warren, and then their version of Shining Love. Now, um, we have new faces, as you can see, for Bloody Shadows.
I was gonna say, I don't recognize. There's some names there I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it was um there were tears shed, at least for me. And I believe Mina as well. Because
Very
it
much, yeah.
for between us two, yeah, between us two, we were like, we need one of them to come back at minimum. Like, I like if we lose some of them, at least one of them has to come back. And even though we didn't want to acknowledge, the possibility of recast, because now it's gotten to the point of like the recasts. Like, obviously we've had recasts in the past. Obviously, Natsuki was recast after Hiroki from Masquerade Mirage did not come back for Natsuki Shinomiya and Polaris. But and you can only empathize so much with the recast, particularly because it's not a character that like I love Natsuki. I love Natsuki Shinomiya, but I was okay with the recast. I was not okay with the possibility of Masanari, uh, Mokun, and or Gaku being recast. Like at this point in time, I was so I was so in love with all of them as actors that I wanted them to come back for Gekidan Shining to reprise their roles as Masa Fairy and Eyeless and Warren. Um, so when the cast was announced on the 14th of September, and we found out that Hiroki was going to be Masafari and Yusuke was going to be Eyeless, I did cry. But I didn't cry because I was mad or upset. I was just sad. I was just sad that Masanari and Mokun weren't going to be coming back. But I was also very looking forward to seeing the Masafari that Hiroki would play or the Eyeless that Yusuke would play and getting to find out more about them. I was I literally thank my lucky stars every single day that Gaku came back as Warren, because I don't want to know what would have snapped in me if Gaku had not come back for
Right.
Warren.
Oh man.
I feel like
That
hellfire would have rained on somebody in Broccoli HQ if they did not fucking secure the contract for Gaku to come back as Warren. It was serious. We were fighting for our lives September 14th. And so but it just it was a very emotional day. It was a very emotional day as a Gekidan Shining enthusiast, and as now at that point an enthusiast for the other actors as well. Mina, do you want to add anything about that particular period in time and era? Like,
man, I could just like I'm I give me a second. So
mm,
just thinking back on it, like now, because I do like, when you do watch it, you do kind of fall in love with the actors. So I love Hiroki and I love Yusuke. Um, but at that point in time, I did not know them, and I was very scared for the direction of Bloody Shadows
mm,
that was going to take. I unfortunately cannot say that I was excited to see them as the visuals.
mm,
They're beautiful and everything.
mm,
It hit everything that I wanted to see, but I was so afraid. And in this point in time, to me, Gaku being Warren
mhm,
was my saving grace. Gaku being there
mhm,
was the reason why I still put my trust in the Gekidan Shining project
mm,
to bring back a good Bloody Shadows. And I was not disappointed at all, but I do remember um, waking up September 14th in my time zone and with the news
mhm,
and everything, and just being so distraught at not getting
mm,
to see the Masanari as Masafari and Mokun as Eyeless. Um, in my case, it was very much fear. I did in fact
mhm,
cry. Thinking back now, where I
mm,
was back then, also does kind of make me cry. It seems a little dramatic now that I really think about it, but it's also
no,
like,
no, this is, yeah.
you fall in love with the characters and you fall in love with the actors.
Mm,
And so
mhm,
it's kind of very disappointing to have to see them let go. And when I finally, so later on when we get into the Blu-ray release, I feel like if Mimi was the first to order, I was the second one to order the
yeah.
Blu-ray DVD. I don't know what was in
Mhm,
me. Snagged that thing as soon as I was able to. I found out how to do the proxy and everything, and I grabbed it. And so I was
mhm,
still very excited to see Bloody Shadows, and I think having my tie to Gaku, like having been so
mm,
emotionally attached um to Bloody Shadows as well
mhm,
as getting to see the familiar face of Gaku bring back Ren to the stage, in this case Warren, really gave me that push that I needed. And Bloody Shadows is my number one. All the other ones I've
My
said,
number
they're
one
in my
too.
top. They're in
Yep.
my top. Bloody Shadows is my number
Is
one.
number one.
Holy shit! Wow,
Yeah,
damn, it's supposed to be
it
like
is
really
the
good
best.
production.
They were not fucking around when it came to putting out Bloody
Absolutely not.
Shadows.
They
Like
put their everything in there.
Yup, it is a fantastic stage. I will say this now, that I think the recasts, when it was announced that Masafari and Eyeless would be somebody else than Masanari and Mokun, I believe that feeling Mina and I felt, and other people I'm sure felt, was as close as we would get to understanding way back when in 2016, when they made the announcement for April Fools that Gekidan Shining was going to be adapted into a stage play. Like,
Right,
what
when everyone was
those
all
people were
angry.
feeling at that time. Yeah.
Anxious, yes, that anxiety and everything, and the wanting to support, but also being afraid to support because you didn't know where it was going to go with these people, basically.
Like that. That September 14th date was as close. The way we felt that day was as close as we would get to understanding what everyone was feeling April Fools of 2016. And but even then, though, for I guess the same argument could be made, because I was thinking a little bit more about it after the second episode, particularly the discussion of the reaction to Gekidan Shining as a project and whatever. And I believe Mia, you had made a mention of like you have the original cast, the original Broadway cast, and obviously they can't stay the original Broadway cast forever, and so some characters get recast as the production goes on longer. But for that particular instance, it can't be compared that way necessarily, because the characters are, well, because Gekidan Shining makes that distinction, or tries to tell everyone the distinction of like, these actors are not playing the Udapri characters, they're playing the characters that the characters played, right? And so the announcement of Gekidan Shining as a project, I still don't understand the confusion as to why people would believe that the seiyuu would no longer be important if the stage actors were to exist. Because that was a lot of the controversy too at that time, is like, well, nobody can be the character but the stage actor, or the nobody can be the character but the seiyuu, and these stage actors are trampling on their territory. And so I don't know. It's a very complex issue, and one that in and of itself could probably be discussed for a long time. But yeah, like I said, like I think the recasting of Masanari and Mokun were, I believe, the closest I would get to understanding their feelings about it.
I feel like with that, and then also like when people got all angry or anxious when it was first announced in 2016, I feel like it's because people have like a very close attachment to like those characters, like the seiyuu as those characters. So like I don't know, maybe it also had to do with like their feelings with that, but also like the way it was worded, and then like the way that because it's on April Fool's Day, it's like there's so many emotions going on at one time that like the information is misconstrued, and like people think they say it in a way that like, oh my god, it means they're replacing them. Like no, obviously that's not what happened. But people's their fears get and how like the fandom culture in Japan is like, they're like
very
intense. when they're obsessed with something, like that's like their whole entire life.
Right.
Whereas
It is.
here, you could kind of like subdue it a little bit, and it's like, oh yeah, like I'm a fan, you know, whatever. But like over there, it's like, no, 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 that's like 24/7 their life. So it's kind of like their
Yeah.
life or their routine probably like got flipped on its head, and like, you know, he's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
that's never happened before. What am I gonna do? Oh my god, like
Yeah.
it's ruined. It like it was perfect and now it's not. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That might be it,
Yeah,
but
no,
I
that's
just feel like
no.
that's one probably reasoning
Yeah.
why.
Right. But now looking back, I will say that the casting was as it should be. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like as an actor, I would have loved to see Masanari's take on Masaferi. Absolutely, that is still true. But I believe there was nobody better to play Masaferi as Hiroki Nakada. And the same goes for Eyeless. Believe I believe Mokun could have done Eyeless justice, but Yusuke Akiba was a perfect cast for Eyeless particularly specifically. Um and I obviously have now come to adore them individually as actors. Um, and when faced with the choice of, okay, SMS, in the perfect future, you would get SMS adaptation announcements, right? Who would I want to come back for Mad Hatter? And my answer would genuinely 100% without hesitation be Hiroki Nakada. I feel like he would make a fantastic, with how he portrayed Mossafairy, a fantastic Mad Hatter. Um, and I just it was as it was as it was meant to be. And for Bloody Shadows particularly as a stage, this one is a lot darker in tone than the other stages. It is up there with Masquerade Mirage, which is funny because
Mm.
Masquerade Mirage and Bloody Shadows have the same script writer, but um, it's also the only stage without a happy ending. It
Oh,
is the only stage of all of them that does not have a happy ending. At best, it has a morally gray ending.
It's
And
kind of
the
left to
direct
your own
it,
interpretation, kind of,
it's
yeah.
yeah, and it's done so on purpose. I believe Bloody Shadows. Obviously, the script had to have been written before, you know, what happened at the time. But I also think that Bloody
Mm-hmm.
Shadows is also a product of it as well. Like the way that the stage is obviously produced and written, and also just the story. I believe it was a product of it's a product of its time, and it's very thought provoking. It makes you like I have never okay every time that I've streamed this stage for people and have watched their reactions to it and read their reactions to it, never have I seen a stage so controversial as Bloody Shadows. A lot of times that I've streamed this stage for people, everyone has comes out of it with a different opinion on it. And not in the way of like, oh, this was a good stage or this was a bad stage. In opinion in that, whoa, this is kind of fucked up if you think about it. Or wow, this was the best outcome for them. I get why they did this.
like their interpretation is
And
different.
yeah, exactly. And there's the yeah, and I like that about this stage. I feel like it could have gone harder in some things. I feel like some amends were not justified. I will say that. Some amends that were made for certain relationships between certain characters, which I will not say who between who, as to not spoil it all. But I do feel like some amends were made for the sake of it being an Udapri stage. Like we can't have these characters all end the stage hating each other. Um and I feel like they could have taken that relationship in a certain route where not necessarily that they were best friends again, but or that they even hated each other. But I feel like some amends shouldn't have been made, but were made. And regardless of those decisions though, this is still a very a very dark and intense stage. This one is the only stage out of the Theater Shining stages that has a connection to the original drama CD. This stage play is a sequel to the original Bloody Shadows drama CD. Um, and so it's a continuation of the story. It's a continuation. If you basically want to find out what happens to Masa Fairy, Eyeless, and Warren at the end of the Bloody Shadows drama CD, watch the stage play. Depending on who you are, you may not like what you see, but it is what is technically written as canon, I guess you could say, because it is the direct sequel to the drama CD. Um, it's I just love this stage with all of my heart. I also really love the songs for this one. I love Goodnight Our Night as just a banger. It's so fucking good. But Daylight Prayer, I obviously I kept tabs every time they were like during the runs. I kept tabs on Twitter of people's reactions after the stage and what people were saying about it and whatever. And for Bloody Shadows, I saw quite a lot of people talk about how Daylight Prayer is such a Masato song. And when I say that it's such a Masato song, I read one particular commenter or like reviewer say how they were watching in the audience Hiroki perform Daylight Prayer and for a moment did not see just Masa Fairy but saw Masato Hijirikawa on stage. And I I mean, having watched that, I'm of personally of agreeance. Daylight Prayer is, I feel, could fit in seamlessly with Masato's discography, um, and I, I love it. I love Hiroki. I love Masaferi. It's such a good. It's just it was all so very good. And particularly with Yusuke actually. I also he gets a lot of comments about how he sounds kind of like Shotan, which is kind of funny considering his normal speaking range is not at all that high. When Yusuke speaks, like the room vibrates with how deep his voice actually is. But when he speaks in Eyeless and when he sings as Eyeless, like it's like a different person. It really is like a different person, and he's amazing for it. Um, and you particularly maintained that he was a fan of the series prior to being cast, and that he wished to do Eyeless justice while also paying his respects to Ai Mikaze. And he went to go see Starish Tours when it was like during one of the runs in Japan, and posted the Ren freebie he'd gotten. He'd went to go see Starish Tours during the week they were giving out the like the like at the end of concerts they shoot out like strips,
Yeah.
and they
Confetti,
Star
yeah.
Tours had one where like like the confetti kind of, and like they had like they were foil and they had like a message written on them from the guys. Yeah, he got the Ren strip when for that one. And he actually during one of the SL Shining Live Family Mart collaboration promotions in early 2021, he got the Eye Clear folder for that as well, and very proudly showed it off. on his social medias. And he also is one of the actors too that likes to wish I a happy birthday as well, when his birthday does come around. Um, and yeah, it's just I love Bloody Shadows. I love the guys. It's such a good stage. I'm a sucker for drama, and this is right up my alley.
Right, yeah.
So if if you want drama with a capital D, this is the stage for you, my friend. Um, and so, Mina, anything you would like to add? Oh, I I did actually end up catching this one on DMM. They were streaming this. They were streaming the Bloody Shadows on DMM before it went out on Blu-ray and DVD. So I did get to see it before the DVD release, and oh, it did not disappoint. But yeah, anyway, Mina, if you would like to add anything, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess just adding on from before, Bloody, first of all, Mimi and I have gone through a lot because of Bloody Shadows. Bloody Shadows is the one
Mhm.
that, let's say, gave us the most trouble because keeping us in suspense from February up until finally getting to hear some news later on in the year, like that. Previous to that, we
Mm,
had not experienced that, you know, and it was the one
obviously, yeah.
where we were constantly, like, obviously we knew
Refreshing.
because, you know, when
Yeah.
March came around things started changing, but like we, before all of that news had started hitting overseas and stuff, we were like constantly on the lookout waiting to see.
Mhm.
I think i think if I remember correctly, you had set like some alarm to check after every
Yeah, I
performance or
did. I did
something,
set alarms.
um
Yeah.
to
Because yeah,
to
because
refresh
we
and stuff like that.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we for the other Gekidan Shining stages, so the way that it worked, obviously they'd have the final performance and then they would announce during the final performance the next stage online. And Mina and I would stay up for each and every one of them. And I remember the night everybody had its final performance, we stayed up. Well, I stayed up. Mina ended up falling asleep during that one. But I stayed up. Like uh I stayed up for I think even longer than we realistically should have waited for the Bloody Shadows announcement, and it never came. And I remember when the next day when I told Mina that we never got the announcement, the feeling of like a foreboding feeling,
Yeah.
and it was the start of a very intense few months of guessing, is it going to happen, is it not going to happen, who's coming back, who's not coming back, what are we going to see, what are they going to do. Like, they can't just end it with everybody, they have to do Bloody Shadows. And you know, it was a lot as a fan of the project. It was a really intense few months.
I think if I remember, I don't think it was for one of these. It may have been a little bit. I think it may have been for Pirates, if I'm wrong or not.
Mhm.
I know for a fact I woke up
Right.
from a call from Mimi giving me news about something that had happened in Gekidan Shining. I cannot for the life of me remember what exactly it was, but I do remember
It
getting
might have
woken up in the middle
It might have
of the night.
been every yeah, it might have been Pirates, because I know that we were wondering who it was gonna be next, if it was gonna be Bloody Shadows or if it was gonna be everybody, and it
Yes,
ended
I
up
think
being
it was, yeah,
everybody.
and then everybody,
So
yeah,
I
and
called
so
you to be like, "Oh my god, it's everybody."
yeah, which meant,
Um,
you know, the whole
yeah.
dread thing. It's like, okay, well, the one that we were most expecting, you know, got to leave it for last, and then
Is
this
not
one
the
was
one.
this was the
Right.
problem child of Gekidan Shining, the one who kept us
Yeah, yeah,
kept us
literally
up
the
at night.
problem child in every way. Yeah.
And so
Um,
obviously, you know, the timing of it was really did, I'm pretty sure, had to do a lot with why it
mhm.
took so long. There were some other speculations flying out there. None of them, you know, they're speculations and they're all baseless and stuff. But when I watched this, so I think the first time I watched this was with you, right?
Yeah,
Even though I
I
had
think
owned the
so.
DVD, I had owned the DVD. I did not have the
Yeah.
courage to watch it by myself. And so
To
Mimi and
watch
I
it
found a
alone.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Mimi and I found some time, and let me tell you, I
We were a mess.
we had to take
Yeah.
yeah, we I had to take a good half hour after, because it goes, you get the play and then you get the review. We had to take a good
Mm-hmm.
30-minute
The
break
break
between the
between.
drama and
Yeah.
then
We
the
couldn't just
review,
go
just
in.
because it wasn't something like you
Yeah.
had to process that. And we sat there and we talked and we talked and we talked until eventually I was in a good
Mm-hmm.
enough state to be able to fully enjoy the
Yeah.
review, which I did. Um, and I can say, same here, that like I said at the beginning, I remember how I felt, the dread and the anxiety of
Mm-hmm.
having to greet new faces in the cast and kind of
Mm-hmm.
being anxious about how Bloody Shadows was going to go. This
Mm-hmm.
was possibly the best ending to that.
Mm.
Because it could
Yeah.
have,
To the era.
it could have gone completely south. I could have completely
Mm.
hated it, but it also could have been like a very neutral thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
well,
That was no. Well.
they did their
Yeah.
job. But no, this was
Yeah.
actually very much the most positive outcome of everything. I fell in love with Hiroki and I fell in love with Yusuke. I do and am hoping, you know, to eventually get to see Mokun again reprise his
Mm.
role as Ai Mikaze in any which way that I can. But
Mm.
I would also hate to see Yusuke go. And so it's a very
Yeah.
conflicting feeling,
It's like a
because it's like you
double-edged
want to
sword.
support them both and you want to see
Yeah.
good. Exactly. That's how
Yeah.
that feels like, because I'm not sure if you can tell, but Ai is my favorite Theater Pre character
Yeah.
out of the entire
I don't
series.
know. I can't really tell by
Not
that
sure if you were
icon.
around for the 1st of
Really?
March. Right. I was just like, just in case. So getting to see Mokun and falling in love with Mokun at the first Masked Mira, I was very scared to see how
Mm.
Yusuke was going to portray I and Eyeless.
Mm. Mm.
And I got to fall in love with a different version. And I'm so incredibly
Yeah.
happy that it happened that way, because I got to see Yusuke and I got to know Yusuke, and now
Mm.
I'm a huge fan of him as well. I follow him
Mm.
along with his other works as well. And Bloody Shadows is just that girl to me. She was
It's
just
just
like the
that
it
bitch.
girl.
Yeah.
She's just that
Yeah.
bitch,
She is the it
the
girl.
top. She
Yeah.
is the it
Yeah.
girl. She is the moment, and she will continue to be the moment in my
To
life.
be the moment. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
I too am a sucker for the dramatics. That's what theater to me, in my personal opinion. No one else is talking here. My personal opinion, theater is for the dramatics. So being able to see that and being able to see how well.
Mm.
Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Let me talk
Oh, oh,
about
oh,
Gaku.
okay, okay. Oh, yeah, actually, I did want to talk about Gaku specifically because, oh my god, he was so
Oh my
fucking good.
god.
He, okay, no. The reason why I like this suit is because they were doubters. They were so many fucking doubters, and we're talking to you. Okay, you can't deny he absolutely killed Warren. He not only killed Warren, but the Jinguji that seeped out of him as well as
Yes.
he was doing
Oh
Warren.
my god.
He was he was back and he was fucking better, baby. He did so good.
So well. Oh my.
He his best. I know how with Polaris, I had mentioned, oh, Shojiro's best acting performance and best acting as Cecil was in Polaris.
Mm.
Gaku's best performance as anything, Warren, Bloody Shadows.
Warren,
This is
very
it,
much.
ladies and gentlemen.
This is okay. So
This was
stylized, it's
so
Warren.
good.
Period. Like if I had to
Right.
type this out, the sentence would be
It-
Warren, capital W, and a
Warren.
period. Send tweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It he did so good. I believe also from 2018 when he did Joker Trap, and then obviously coming back for Bloody Shadows in late 2020, he did other productions in the middle, which I believe did help bolster his did help with his acting. It helped with his acting and a lot of fighting choreography, I believe, because he also, I believe, between Joker Trap and Bloody Shadows, he did end up becoming cast as Sword Boy in
Yes.
the Token Rambu, and so that, I believe, also lended a lot of his growth as an actor that he was then able to bring to Warren, and it was an elevated performance and elevated in acting and fighting choreography, especially with a sword, and it was so good. He was fantastic, and I love him so much. And, I may be talking from a biased lens, and I do try to be as objective when talking about things like this as possible, but also
In this
completely
case,
unashamedly, I love Gaku Takamoto as Warren, Tricky Heart, Renjin, all of it. The whole package. There's nobody better for me, honestly. He
yes.
killed it. He does so well.
So at the
So,
beginning,
mhm,
yes. So at the
yeah,
beginning, I know for last episode I did talk about who my favorite in the Gekidan, who your favorite top boy is. I
right,
did mention Nosuke being there for a little bit. The person
mhm,
who I cannot tell you why, but the person that I would, if I had to do a ranking, it would 100% be Gaku at the top. And so Gaku being my top Gekidan Shining actor, plus him being the one familiar face that I get to see in Bloody Shadows. For me, it definitely, like I said, it gave me the courage um to trust the production and the boost and everything to kind of be able to watch it and be able to experience it in the way that I did. Because having the one familiar face, I don't think I would have known what to do if we had a full recast. If I had to do Hiroki, if I had to do Yusuke, and I had to do a new actor for Ren, I don't know how exactly that would have gone on my end. Just thinking about it is it's a little scary to really to think about. But obviously, it ended very well with Hiroki being Masaferi and Yusuke being Eyeless. Gaku being there was, like I said, my saving grace. And I think it also made me kind of,
mhm,
let's call it an attachment. I don't think that's the right word to use, but let's just use that for a minute. I think
mhm,
having that attachment to Gaku,
mhm,
and Gekidan and everything kind of solidified everything else for me. And then being able to experience Gaku's Warren, like being able to watch that and watch the growth that he
mhm.
had from Tricky Heart in Joker
Yeah,
Trap to Warren is insane. Like his growth is exponential.
it
Not to
is.
say that Tricky Heart was in any way
Mhm.
bad. Not to say at all it was any way bad, but
Yeah.
the growth that he had was insane. And um,
Yeah.
the familiarity and everything about it, like I could go on and on and on and on about how much I love
About
Gaku,
Gaku
but being able to
Takamoto,
see him,
yeah.
yes, he's just
Mhm,
everything. Like I'm
mhm,
so incredibly happy that they were able to get him back because I loved being able to see his interpretation of Warren. And I loved the way that he fit
mhm,
between Hiroki and Yusuke as their respective characters. And he gave
mhm.
us, he gave his best, and damn, did he leave that shit on the
Yeah,
stage because
ew,
holy
wow,
hell.
yeah, wow. It was, yeah. There's one particular scene that I'm thinking about, which is um
The flashback.
particularly, I believe his. Yep.
Yeah.
You already. I knew you would
Yeah.
understand what scene I'm talking about. There's one
Yeah.
particular scene where I believe it's his shining moment for sure, and it was just incredible. If Gekidan Shining had a yearbook, right? Gaku would be most improved. Like
Very much
for sure,
insane.
he would win most improved in that Gekidan Shining theoretical yearbook. And
So let me
it
also
was
mention
it's really
this.
mm-hmm.
So, we get as flirtatious as we can with Tricky Heart,
Mm,
right? We get all
mm-hmm.
of that because it's his first
Mm-hmm.
interpretation of everything, and the way that we're watching it. It does
Mm-hmm.
kind of come off as um a little if you know what you're looking for, it comes off as a little awkward,
Mm.
a little clumsy. Let me tell you how that he managed to grab and hold on to that and improve it 200, 2,000,
Mm.
2,000,000%
2%.
into Warren,
Yeah.
and some of that was
Yeah.
there was just some things that he was doing in that stage play that he had no business doing, but
No
damn did it
right.
add
He
to the
had no
experience.
right.
He had
Yeah.
no
Mm-hmm.
right to be doing all of that. But
Mm-hmm.
damn, did it add to the
Yeah.
experience. And I got to see the improvement. I got to see Renjin Guji on the stage. That was not Warren.
Yeah.
That was Renjin
Mm-hmm.
Guji. And I finally got to see some of that on stage. And that was
Mm-hmm.
incredible. And I loved I ate that up.
I ate that
That
shit up.
was
Absolutely.
right. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That was bon appetit. He fed me so well.
You're clearly like the
Well,
demographic
yeah.
for this.
Right.
Like this was made for you.
Right. And I don't know if like part of that it had his Gaku charm in it, obviously. He's himself, but
Yeah.
it had the Gaku charm in it,
Yeah.
but it also had the Renjigushi flair in there. And I was just not at all expecting it when it
It
came
had the
through. And
jam.
it was and like
Yeah.
you had to be looking at Warren the entire time to see when those bits of Gaku came out and when the bits of Warren were on stage, as to when the bits of just
Yeah.
Renj and Guji, like he embodied all both himself,
Of
Warren,
it.
and Renj and Guji on the stage.
He deserves his flowers. He deserves the world, honestly. He
Yes,
deserves the stars. He deserves all the good in life.
everything good in the
Everything
world.
good in the world. But yeah, you would absolutely unashamedly 100% love Gaku Takamoto in this household, and yeah, we hear nothing else.
We stand. We stand in this household.
Yes,
We stand. Yeah, exactly.
we do.
And
Yes.
is that it, Mina? Is that all you would like to talk about?
Yes. Yes, because I think if you gave me another hour, I could keep going on about Gaku. So let me cut it off
More,
for a
more.
minute.
Yeah. For a second there. Okay.
Got a little too excited. I'm sorry.
Which me too. Like
Oh,
the
you're
only reason.
fine. You're fine.
No, I don't. I'm gonna move on only because I don't want to add to the length of time just talking about my feelings on Gaku. So, the next stop on our timeline, which we are. Thank you for those who have stuck around this long to see it through to the end. But basically, what goes on after Bloody Shadows is it obviously has to come to an end on November 22nd, 2020. December 29th is when Shining Review gets added to on-demand services. And then July 4th, a Shining Review finale is announced for straight-to-streaming services sometime in 2021. September 6th of 2021 is when additional Shining Review finale details are revealed and eventually has their actual streaming period from October 15th through the 24th. So as I mentioned, this was a straight to stream. Most of the guys came back. Obviously Nosuke came back, Shojiro came back, Alan came back, Shuji came back, Someya came back, Uda, Hiroki, Gaku, and Yusuke came back. Unfortunately, Soichiro could not come back for Polaris, but at this point in time as well, allegations that were made against Ren Ozawa were already, I think it was announced December 2020. So he was obviously not going to be returning for the finale, October 15th of 2021. And the summary for Shining Review finale was that this was a special show where the main cast across all 4 stages would come together in celebration of the completion of not only the Theater Shining series, but also the Gekidan Shining project as a whole. The format was similar to that of the first Shining Review, except that they also held a short talk after the review portions to talk about their memories and reminisce over the years with Gekidan Shining. And for the songs, there were no new songs unfortunately produced for the show. However, considering the then recent events with previous actor Ren Ozawa, the Pirates team modified and completely removed his vocals from the group songs. Then they were remained as the Shining Review finale versions. And then Soichiro, despite being absent for Polaris, was still included as a vocal track during the Polaris performances. And in fact, during the Polaris performances, what they ended up doing is, particularly for the group song that they do, they played, so they had obviously Nosuke come on stage. Uh they had Nosuke come on stage, and then it was supposed to be Natsuki next, but obviously because he wasn't there, what they did is they cut to a clip of the DVD recording performance that Soichiro did for that song, and then they just went back to the footage of them there with Soichiro as Cecil finishing off the song. And then for the duet between Natsuki and Cecil, what ended up happening is they rearranged the choreography for it to be technically a solo choreography with Cecil, but they still, as I mentioned, had Soichiro in the vocal track. So Soichiro would sing, and then he would let the book Soichiro sing his parts, and then he'd sing again, and so on and so forth. Um, and Street to Stream meant that there was no live audience for obvious reasons, which for me, as a Gekidan Shining enthusiast, this was a very bittersweet ending. It's a very bittersweet finale because there was no audience to cheer them on in person. And they, it was all pre-recorded. They did the best with what they could. The rollout for finale was very lackluster. They made, I believe, the minimum amount of merchandise that they could possibly make for this production and then call it a day. And when it was straight to streaming, obviously they didn't do new songs for this, and it was straight to stream and then eventually straight to DVD. There was no special DVD events held for it. It was literally, I believe, the quiet goodbye, and it is really, it's really sad. I'm really grateful for it, but I wish they'd gotten more. But nonetheless, it was still a really good show. They were really funny during the variety portions and the actual concert performances. It was, they gave it their all, and you could tell, and it was, you know, very special. And um sorry. um yeah, uh, I'm so sorry. um I just am really happy. Um
It shows you're passionate, so don't apologize.
Yeah.
It's okay if we get emotional on this podcast. I'm fine with that.
Sometimes, yeah. um, but yeah, no, I mean, it was great. Um,
And it is kind of
yeah.
bittersweet, like you said, you know, like just kind of hearing you talk about how exciting it is, and then like this is like how it ends. This is like because
Yeah.
and they need a finale. Like, my God, that's like
No, like
okay.
it's the end. Yeah, and I like to joke and I like to say that it wasn't right. That they're gonna come back and SMS is gonna be a thing, but I don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting. I'm still hoping, and I always wish to wake up to the announcement. But I mean, it's the finale, you know. And I like to make a joke. I like to joke, you know, as a way to just not always cry about this. That this experience has prepared me for the eventual end of Udapri as a franchise. I'm like having gone through the end of Gekidan Shining, like I'm crying now. Like I'm crying now.
Dude, I can't even
Just
think about the
trying to
pre-ending. I don't
retell
want
this
to.
to you, but it, for me, I'm like, for me, what like that is the only second worst thing that could happen after the completion of Gekidan Shining as a project, and the thought that we are not getting anything else after that is like the second worst thing that could happen is that Udpri ends, and obviously it's not going to. It's very much still full steam ahead for the original
Oh yeah, they're. I'm sure
guys, but
Broccoli has like plans for the next like 15 years or something.
Yeah, but like I said, in jest, I like to joke that this is preparing me for that eventual, end. And because it's like I can't experience any worse heartbreak than this, right? um and also too, I like to laugh because again, I always keep tabs on people's opinions and reactions to things because I like to know what the people are saying, the general public, and especially the intended audience, which is the domestic fans, which and
Udapri is
what I
forever, man.
remember, yeah,
Udapri's forever.
um,
Won't go away.
um, the the amount of people that watched the Shining review finale stream as their first Gekidan Shining production, I need them to open up their wallets right now. Because why are you here now when it's over? Where were you 4 years ago when this was a thing, right? Like when this was just starting, where were you 4 years ago? Now that it's over, now you're here and you're watching and you're enjoying. Obviously the people who don't want anything to do with the stage plays continue to have nothing to do with the stage plays. But the people who did, who saw this, Shining review finale, and they watched the stream during the streaming period, and then commented about how there was this one person who was like, "Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't have started with this one." You think?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now
no shit.
like I probably shouldn't have started with this one. Like why would you think you would this was a good one to start with if you knew nothing about the Gekidan Shining series or project? Why did you think the finale was the one you should start
It's
with?
like those people come in like, what did I miss, guys? Like the whole thing.
Exactly.
You just came in
And there were so many of them like that. There were so many of them like that, like tweets like that, because they ended up like making like a dedicated hashtag for the Shining review finale streaming period. Like you could like they were like, oh, please hashtag your impressions or tweets with da 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 da, and a lot of them, there were a lot of them who were like, it made me think like that of the person who kind of comes in, you know, in the aftermath of it all and is like,
Right.
so what did I miss? And
Right.
I'm like,
So
you
my
guys are here now.
my
Yeah.
one question is,
Mhm.
are these people that came in later, are these Japanese fans or are these international fans or a mix of both?
No, domestic fans. No, they were domestic Japanese
Okay.
fans. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm
They
surprised. I'm surprised there's a lot of Japanese fans that had barely started with this. Like, bro, you guys get everything with the pre.
yeah.
We get the crumbs. How have you not?
Yeah.
Like, I can
But I
understand
guess it
someone
also
like
goes to
me,
show.
but
Yeah. I guess it also kind of goes to show like just the general reception of the stage plays and the grand scheme of the Udapri franchise with
right,
the amount of people now that it was over, because they probably couldn't deny it anymore, right? They couldn't ignore it anymore because it happened, and if they really did want to ignore it, they could continue to ignore it, but it's over. They did the damage. The damage was done. So what could you do other than embrace it or, ignore it completely? And I feel like there were a lot of fans when they saw that it was the finale who finally were like, okay, let me give this a shot. And it just made me laugh seeing those kinds of tweets of like, oh wow, this guy actually does a really good Cecil. Oh, this actually is a really good, like, Masa Fairy, a really good Reichi, a real like you guys, they were here this whole time. They were like, like now you're here because it's like, obviously we could talk and we could talk and we could discuss, because I have done it with myself in my room when my thoughts just become my only friend, and with other people as well, where I discuss, was this supposed to be the end? Was this supposed to be the true end? Were we ever supposed to actually get SMS adaptations? Or was Shining Review finale supposed to be produced in a different way? What could have happened for it to have come to this? Was it what happened with Ren? Was it, the what was going on in society as a whole with the entire world, and or was it a combination of these things, or was this always the intended finale? We'll never know, right? What happened, like in the room where it happened. We'll never know what happened.
oh yeah,
And I
for
like
sure.
I always I always do think about it. Because I'm delusional like that. But I I wish it had a better end. But I'm still grateful for the end we did get. And yeah, I'm like, well, I'm glad the people that are now watching it enjoy, since they're here now,
Right.
where we could have probably used their help 4 years ago,
So so then, what are the last two dates? What is that?
The last two dates are um August 5th, the Theater Shining series gets added to on-demand services, and then December 1st of 2022, all 9 Gekidan Shining productions are added on demand on DMM TV, and that
Okay.
is it.
I thought you were gonna
Yeah,
surprise
that's
me and
really
be
it.
like,
And
"Just
this is the final
kidding,
lineup.
just
Whatever.
kidding. We're gonna get more." Like, I thought I
No,
was so
I wish
hopeful.
No.
I I wish I
I
had
guess
such a announcement for you, but
I
that
would think I would think
is
maybe one of
really
the
it as of right now. This is it.
I would think maybe one of the decisions probably was like money,
Mm,
or like, I don't know, maybe they
mm,
set aside like a budget of like a certain amount. Like, okay, we can do like all
yeah,
of these shows, and then once we get to the end here, like from the with this production, like we have to cap it, and we can't do any more. We can't set aside any more
yeah,
money for it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but also like maybe it was that plus like, oh, like we kind of have to change how we're like doing all of our productions and
mm,
stuff now, because the
mm,
world is
mm. Mhm.
explode on fire, and
Exploding, yeah.
we have to we have to change the way that we're
Mhm.
around each other, and like that kind of messes with like
Mhm.
productions and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and probably also because of the whole streaming thing, so like having to put
Mm.
everything on streaming, whereas like if you're going to go buy a ticket for live theater, obviously it's going to cost more because you're only going to watch it like assumedly
Yeah. Mhm.
an audience member's only going to watch it one time because the ticket's expensive, or you have to travel to go
Right.
see it or whatever. So I mean, I'm sure we can
Mhm.
speculate on like the various
Oh,
reasonings,
the
but
reason why.
I'm
Yeah.
sure those are some of the possible reasons, maybe, and also maybe
Yeah.
scheduling too. Like
Yeah.
these actors probably have other things. I mean, of course, you don't want to
Yeah.
replace everybody, but it's kind of like,
Yeah.
maybe that's also like a thing of like, oh, well, I can't get these two actors to like be in it
Right.
again at the same time, so then we're gonna have to get like other replacements, and like,
Yeah.
how's that gonna fare for us in the
Yeah.
whole? But it would be awesome to get the other drama CDs done, because um Licorice is like my favorite Utapri drama
Yeah,
CD
it
of
would
all
be
time.
so good. I know that it
it's
would.
That's one of my favorite. It's like my favorite Utapri drama CD. I have like that's the one drama CD that I have like a physical copy of and everything. I want to get the others too, but like that one is like I love it so much. So like to know, like to realize this and be told like, oh yeah, it's over. Be like, damn man, I can't.
Yeah, no,
like
no, it's over. Yeah, um and also obviously having been there since the beginning, like watching it from the its conception. I wasn't there for the April Fool's announcement, but I was there for the actual announcement of Shinobi in 2017. Um Seeing it from then to now, like, like I got into Udapri when Gekidan Shining was announced, like when Shinobi was announced, like that was around the same time that I was being introduced to Udapri as a whole. So I think that it was, at least for me in my fandom experience, it was like being at the right place at the right time. I
right,
my Udapri experience was, I could not imagine what it would be like without Gekidan Shining now, because I grew up in this fandom with Gekidan Shining, you know? And
yeah,
so for me, you know, Kamyu is Maya no Tomoaki and Shuji Kikuchi. And like I wouldn't have it any other way. And um and then also not only just being there from like its inception or the beginning, but also seeing people's reactions to it, obviously, like the very controversial beginning, and then eventually finding the Udapri franchise niche of the people who are interested in the stage plays, and further becoming popular in its own little corner of the franchise and universe,
the
and
Utapri
into
verse as we've
what it's
dubbed it.
become. Yeah. And the the iwu,
The uwu.
the
I thought we weren't gonna call it that
yeah,
anymore, guys.
the uwu, yeah.
It's the uwu. It
um
will always be that way
and
to me.
so y- um and like I remember the 10th anniversary for Udapri as a franchise. I was so excited because I was predicting a lot of people would do like a timeline of Udapri, right? And I was hoping I would see people talk about Gekidan Shining. And the result was that not a lot of people did. Not a lot of people included Gekidan Shining in their Udapri timeline celebrating the 10th anniversary. Like, there was like there was a video going around of this someone had made of like all of the very important, like all of when the lives were held, and all these big Udapri landmarks, And yet when it came to spring of 2017, they didn't include Gekidan Shining. And it was, as obviously an enthusiast of the project, it was really sad because, like, for me and my Udapri fandom, I celebrate Gekidan Shining too on the 10th anniversary because it was, it is part of the circle. It is a part of the universal
Right.
franchise, and
It's like
like
I
I said,
can't
you,
you can't
yeah,
celebrate like a whole body of work for something without like mentioning like the offshoots or like stuff that it
yeah,
inspired or whatever, because like yeah, that stuff gets popular too. Like, it like there's
yeah,
always going to be somebody that like knows about those
mhm,
like offshoots or other things that's going to
yeah,
be like, hey, how come we didn't talk about this? Like that's
right,
part of the
yeah,
history too.
yeah,
So
and yeah.
hopefully in the
It
future more people
Yeah,
understand that.
which, like,
And
it's also like it's not stupid at all, because I wouldn't say that it's like, if somebody were to say what I'm about to say right now, I would say that it's not stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway because it is also how I feel. It is kind of stupid how I think about Gekidan Shining sometimes. I know, and I realize that. In that, like, it's like my baby, and so, like, like, it's something that as a fan, I'm so proud Udapri did, and like how Terashi mentioned how in awe he was of the direction Udapri was heading in. Like, like, I really, like, enjoy Udapri, and other people enjoy the Gekigan Shining project, and other people enjoying it. And so, and it does make me happy when people do say that Gekidan Shining is a part of Udapri, because it is. It really is. Like, it's a Udapri project. It is
yeah,
Udapri. And so, and then
it's got their
also,
seal of approval. So like, yeah, why wouldn't
yeah,
it be part of it?
and 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 I know I had mentioned after I talked about Tarashi going to Pirates that, was not the last incident of this kind. Which I think I mentioned it in episode 2, but I'll mention it again. But Alan and Shuji went to go see Quartet Night Future Live,
Yes, you mentioned
and
that previously. Yep.
they met Mino and Tatsu, and took pictures with them, which
That's
I should
crazy.
have included in the slide, but I forgot to. And
I'm
oh
sure
no,
we could
I
find the
know I
pictures.
yeah, I also recognize why I didn't do it. I didn't do it because the official Gekidan Shining Twitter did not post them. They were on their personal Twitters, and I didn't want to take any of their personal pictures, so that's why I
Yeah.
didn't include it in the slide. But
I'm
they did,
sure
yeah.
if anyone wants
Those
to Google it,
yeah.
you could find it somewhere,
Oh,
I'm
Yes.
sure.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could find it. And so and so, those it always made me so happy to see those kinds of pictures and interactions of, like, they're a part of the family. Are you okay? Sorry,
Yeah, I'm
I
fine.
saw you say
It's because
ow.
my leg was a weird way and it started cramping up, so I had to like move my
Oh,
leg before
okay.
it started cramping. So I'm
Be
good. I'm good though.
careful. Okay, but yeah. So
I'm getting
yeah, like,
old, guys.
not that old, but um,
But
the
still old.
the but seeing those interactions, because they're a part of the family. They're a part of the family, the Udapri family, and they're here to stay whether you like it or not, because the damage is done
Well,
and the Gekidan Shining project is over.
well,
So,
plus if
you
it
know.
didn't exist, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it.
Right.
And
Mhm.
like, you know,
Mhm.
I wouldn't be learning about it. And now I'm excited to learn about it and to like actually sit down and like
Yeah.
watch it. So like for
Yeah.
sure, I'm gonna be like, yo, where are the links to where I can watch on my own time? So then because
Yeah.
well first, Mina, did you have anything else you want to say about it as a whole.
No,
Your
I like hearing you guys discuss everything. I don't really have anything to add on specifically because I kind of Mimi and I have had this conversation over a lot of times. So she knows how I feel and I know how she feels in terms of the Gekidan Shining. Our feelings are pretty much on the same.
the
Hers
same.
maybe hers may be just a little bit higher because she's a little bit more dedicated to it and all. Plus, she was there for the formation and of everything of the Gekidan Shining project versus I came in just a little bit later. But regardless, we've both kind of gone through the whole thing pretty much together, and we kind
Mhm.
of have very similar feelings on
Well,
everything. And I do feel sad knowing that a lot of people don't really view Gekidan Shining as an Udapri
mhm,
project. Kind of, it's like I felt like it's kind of like the abandoned child. It exists
Mm.
and
right.
people acknowledge it, but they don't acknowledge it enough for it to be very well known. Because I know that
Mm.
there are probably people out there, newer Udapri fans that have absolutely no idea that there are stage plays, and I know that there's probably, if there's 10 of them, there's at least one of those 10 that would be very interested in learning about Gekidan Shining
Mhm,
and learning
Mm.
about the stage actors and the plays and
Mm.
everything. And I would just had hope that hopefully if they do decide to do, there's only one thing we can do, and it is to hope that they bring SMS to stages and give us a little
Mhm.
bit more, because I think now there is a bigger audience. I feel like a
Mm.
lot of in during the timeline and everything, the past couple of years, I feel like there have been a bigger boom in terms of Udapri fans, especially with the addition of um, the birth and death, which is a horrible way to put it, of Shining Live, the English server. I feel like there was a boom of
Mhm.
Udapri
R.I.P. R.I.P.
who
Yeah.
they
Say
may have been
R.I.P. again.
anime only. Like there are people who are
Mhm.
Udapri anime only fans who have no
Right.
clue that there are games.
Yeah.
There are people who are Shining
Right.
Live only players. Like they only know
Right. And
Udapri via Shining Live. They've
they've
never
never
even
seen the
watched
anime.
the anime or anything. So I know that there are people out there that could be interested in this. And I just wish that I could just go, if there was like a large intercom for the world that would just translate
Mm.
in every language available to let them know that Gekidan Shining is a thing. And sure,
Mm.
there's it's ended like this. I want to say this phase of
Mm.
Gekidan Shining has ended, and I hope that there will be more. But like, if there isn't, I still want them to acknowledge what Gekidan Shining is.
Mm.
I still want them to
Mm.
know that it exists, and in the
Mm.
same way, I want to hear what their opinions are on everything. I want to know
Mm.
what they love, what they don't
Mhm. What
love,
they didn't
you know,
like. Yeah, what
yeah,
they
like
wish they could
their
have done better.
interpretations,
Yeah.
exactly, like their
Mhm.
interpretations of everything, because I can
Mm.
interpret it one way, Mimi can interpret it another way,
Mhm.
Mia, you could interpret it a completely different way than both of us.
For
And then there's
sure.
But we're
like
not
there's
right. Yeah.
exactly, like they're just
Right.
interpretations.
It's all
Everybody has their own way of
constructive.
thinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I just wish that we could get more people on board, and Mimi's doing that step by step, trying to get people to watch the stages and stuff by holding
Mm.
streams when she can. She's the army recruiter into the Gekidan Shining military. We have our little different branches and stuff, and so um, you know that's really just where I stand. As much as I love Udapri,
Mm.
Gekidan Shining has very much become a treasure to me.
It's like a special
Mhm.
place.
It very much is.
Mhm.
And
So, is this
Yeah.
the last slide?
That is. This is it. This
Okay.
is the you we have
these are
completed the
our
timeline.
All right.
we're up to
Okay,
speed with
timeline.
everything.
I'm gonna remove the screen
Yeah.
because
Okay.
um we are finished with that. I'm gonna hide this little ticker at the bottom.
Yeah.
Um, but with all that in mind, um,
Mm.
what I want to do for future episodes, and we can include other people on here who are also fans
Mm.
of Gekidan Shining because I want to know what people's favorite.
Absolutely.
Now I know what. Now
Right.
that I know that your both of you love the Bloody Shadows stage show.
Mhm.
What I want to do for future episodes, because I also have someone else who I've been talking to, they're just not available till like June.
Yeah.
To really talk about it. So I want to find out what their favorite stage show is. But I want to do where I watch it, not with a live reaction or anything, because I don't want to get
Right.
the copyright claim. But I want to have like watched the production, taken notes, and then we do like a review episode
Like
of
spoilers
Yes.
galore.
Yes,
Talk
with
all about
spoilers
it.
and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Basically like a review.
Yeah.
Like I'm reviewing a show, but it's a
Yeah.
podcast, and I'm talking about it with people who are already familiar with it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's like your favorite. Oh my gosh, now you want to hear my reaction and like what I liked and like what you're talking about right now. Like, because I am coming at it from not just like an Utapri fan perspective, but a
But as
theater
a theater
perspective.
kid, yeah.
Yes,
Right,
as
yeah, we have that background.
as a director and writer and actor.
Right.
I want to come at it from that perspective as well, because theater isn't like, theater is universal. Like every place has, you know, theater, but I feel like different countries have their own ways of putting on productions, and like, you know, theater has a different history than it in the West than it does in the East, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. So I want to kind of like talk about it in that way, so that way I can put like one of my loves with the pre, and then my love with together. So I want to do future episodes on that where we just
I would love that.
I will watch Bloody
that'd be
Shadows, and then we
wonderful.
just talk about that the whole episode. And
Oh, you can sign me up for that.
The show, and I give you my review, and we talk about what happens in it, and like favorite parts and such, and like my reactions, and so I do want to do that in the future, and of course we're gonna dedicate like one episode each to like each thing, including the Shining reviews as well, like kind of like what I want to do with the lives. You know, we watch the live and we talk about the live later on or whatever. So that way, again, we have lots of episodes of the podcast.
The podcast.
Yes,
we have so much to talk about.
Most material.
Yes. So I
Yeah.
do plan on doing that, because again, I want to bring in different guests, but also, you know, I want to bring in previous guests, of course. So y'all are always welcome to come back. But I do have other people that are interested and would like to talk about Gekidan Shining. That I haven't watched anything, so I'm very unfamiliar except for those like, little clips I've seen. You know what I want you guys to do in the chat, or like people watching later? If you guys can find me all of the quiz pre stuff.
Oh man, I would love that too.
If you can find me all the quiz pre stuff, I would love to do episodes on quiz pre, because oh my god, the clips of quiz pre are some of my favorite moments of all time. They're so good. I love when they do that stupid marshmallow game with the Starish Seiyu, and they like kill it. They're all so good at catching those fucking marshmallows. And I love when they're identifying all the songs, and they have to write down the stupid fucking titles of the songs and like do it correctly, otherwise they don't get points. I fucking love that shit. And
I wonder if it's also possible to maybe do your own little quiz pre with like guests and stuff after talking about it.
I would love to do a quiz show. I want an episode. I want us to do either like the Cards Against Humanity thing, where you put in all of your own little answer keys. Or I also want us to play like Jackbox, like what's called,
or all of it. Yeah.
What's it called? What is that Jackbox?
Which one?
Quiplash.
Oh,
where you can input like, you can make your own Quiplash game with like answers about like specifics for like your friend group and stuff. So we would do like a Nuta pre quiz Quiplash.
Yeah.
which would be really funny. So
Yeah.
I have lots of, but yes, I would love to do a quiz pre.
Quiz free with people,
But
yeah.
if anyone
Yeah.
anyone can find me clips of Quizpree, I don't care if there are fan subs on it or not, because you can always guess what they're talking about if you don't speak Japanese.
Yeah.
I can always understand what's going on, even in like the little itty bitty clips that I've seen of certain Quizpree episodes on Tumblr. But if anyone can find Quizpree stuff, I would love that. I would love to talk about. I would love to talk about Quizpree because Quizpree is so fun. I love that they do that. I wish that we did that here, like for shows and stuff.
For
I
sure.
wish that was like the culture here, the fandom culture, or that was like the culture in terms of like.
It's funny.
Hey, here's the cast of this one show. Let's do a whole quiz show about like the show.
Yeah.
You have to remember all that shit. Like, I wish we did that here.
Yeah, and it's funny because I completely forgot about the quiz prees, and now that you mention it, for me in my little one-track Gekidan Shining brain, I'm like, oh, that's a perfect way to describe Shining Review. At least the beginning part of Shining Review,
Right,
it's
it's like
literally
quiz
like
pre.
their
Yeah,
own
it is
quiz
like quiz
pre.
pre,
Yeah.
Because I just love seeing these grown ass men, like they're not young adults, they're adults. They're these grown ass men like doing a fucking scavenger hunt. I fucking love that.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
It's so
funny,
fun.
and I like seeing how
you feel the fun, and you're having fun too. Yeah,
I like seeing how their different personalities, and like especially with like the Quizpree stuff with like when they had Quartet Night, Stars and Heavens, and you can see like the dynamic of like all of them together, like as stars. It's like, oh yeah, clearly all of them have like worked together, not just on Utapri, but on other stuff together. And so it's like they're all like they've known each other for like years, like over like a decade at this point for some of them probably. And I just like seeing them like be friends, and it's really wholesome and cute. And it makes me and I like watching them do Utapri stuff specifically. Because I just like the dynamic. I just think it's so much fun. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I hit the boom arm. But yeah, those are ideas I have for future episodes. If anyone can find me Quizpree stuff, please DM me on Twitter or on Discord if you have me on Discord.
Find her. Yeah. Get in contact.
And if anybody knows of anyone who can find that stuff, please let me know. Because I would love to talk about Quizpree. I would love to talk about Quizpree so much. It's so good. That's like an additional thing to the live shows. Is just I want to talk about how wholesome all of these Seiyu are. They're just adorable. Like that's why I like when you were talking about earlier about like, oh, the eventual end of Utapri. I'm like, I don't want can't think about that, because then I'm like, then I only have the memories of watching the Seiyu interact with each other the way that they do. Like, I'm literally gonna go try to find like the clips right now when
as soon as we end,
so I can like enjoy that, and be like, oh my god, they're so cute. Oh my god, like the way they answered that question was adorable. Oh my god, like I love all these like 40 and 50 something year old men. Even more. So those are some ideas that I have. If anyone in the comments, because I'm sure people are going to comment after the VOD, feel free. Comment your ideas in here. Please let me know. I would love to see everyone's reaction. But actually, Mimi, you had a really good idea earlier before we started the live.
In the waiting room,
Yes, we were waiting to start. You had a really good idea, which I think I'm going to talk about right now really quick. Which is, between every episode, there's always going to be some Utapri news, because Broccoli stays like tweeting about
some shit,
every other day. So like, we're gonna talk about like news that's happened between every episode, because, and I'm gonna share my screen right now because
we're gonna talk about the birthday CDs, the CD.
Yes. Look at this.
Oh my god, they look so good.
Like,
So cute.
oh my god,
I
guys,
know.
they are making a birthday song CD with Courts at Night and Stars. Look, these are not boys anymore. They are men. They are all dressed like men.
I am so
Ugh.
in love. I'm so in love.
Oh my god! Like literally, everyone looks super good. Like, oh my god!
Look at Tommy.
I know this. He's like, oh my
I'm
god!
so- I know, and I
Like,
called it too. I called it too because when they first announced this project, they did say that it was gonna be coming with, at the end of it, a 12, like a 12-track album, and I was like, wait, 11 boys, 12 tracks. Are we getting a birthday song? And guess what? We are
We're
titled
getting a
Your Birthday with all of the guys. Who knows what
oh my
we sound
god!
like,
See,
but we are getting a birthday song. Yay!
this is the best news ever because like every time I hear like a group, I think I mentioned this before, but every time I hear a group song from Utapri, specifically like a Starish group song, I just pretend they're like literally singing it to me like right next to me. Especially when I'm in the car and I'm by myself, I'm like, yes, please sing right there in my ear. If this was real, this is how it would look, and it'd be really cute, and I would like not be crying right now. But I'm like, look at everybody, they're like so grown up. Okay, I will, as a Tokia stan, like I think he gets like the prettiest like Shining Life cards a lot of the time. The
He looks
most
like a
recent
proper
Shining Life
gentleman.
card for Tokia. Girl, I'm so mad at K-Lab for closing the English server before this fucking card came out.
Wait, which one?
Forehead.
Let me show
Oh!
Forehead. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Now I have to show you the card.
I remember now. No, yes, you're right. Oh,
it is the most beautiful fucking card I've ever seen.
Show it.
I've been so happy lately with the art.
Yep. My day, Tokia.
Look at this fucking man. This man pays his taxes on time. And
so attractive. I know.
This man helps you walk your dog at the park.
If you ask him to watch your things, if you need to go to the bathroom, he will watch.
He will watch intensely.
And this man holds you tenderly at night, and then a bunch of redacted things that I can't say.
Oh God!
Look at this man. Oh my god! I like every time they show his forehead, I want to cry.
Yeah.
Like he's just. Oh my god! It's one of those things like that birthday CD. Like everyone just looks amazing. Everyone looks. I'm gonna show it again because I just want to talk about it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Like everyone just looks so good. Like again, like I said, they don't look like boys anymore, and they haven't for a few years. Like they're all like these are all guys like in their late 20s, early 30s now. And I love that they kind of like make them sort of age with like the Phantom, because like in terms of like, and I kind of did the math on it, like in terms of the year, if you're gonna say like, oh, when the first season of the anime came out and it's 2010, like how old would they have to be if they're in school?
Right. And
so I'm like, yeah, like Tokia and I were like the same age. Like me and Ren were like the same age. Like hell yeah. Like so I love that they are like we're aging together, and I don't feel good about it. But like, oh my god, I love this aesthetic. Like this is like, I'm like, this. Are you sure this isn't like a wedding song? Because look how they're dressed.
It's proposal night.
Have you seen Kamu? Ow! I just hit my head. Have you seen Kamu? I think we should all take a second.
Take a second to take
yeah. Yeah, because I enjoy all of their foreheads. I enjoy all of their hair. But
That
I
to me is
I
yes.
mean, you know, yeah, yeah.
You want to kiss their
Mhm.
little forehead, like
Yeah.
I haven't been able to see your forehead before because your anime hair just blocks it. So like I'm glad I can like see it and like just like it's so
I'm
cute.
glad they acknowledged their foreheads for once.
Well, and then like just the fits, like I love that their colors are incorporated not in the vest, but with the little
but in the
corsage,
pants.
but in the
Yeah.
pants. In the pants, we get some leg action.
Yeah.
And we get some ankle action from like everybody.
Scandalous.
We're in a Victorian era. They're giving us
They're
they're giving us ankles and we're going for it. We're
yeah.
It's just super cute, and I just like how all their poses are like very them. Like Tokyo's
Very
like, yeah, I'm very.
individual,
This is a Tokyo pose. Like I'm refined. I'm professional. I'm just gonna do like this.
Yeah, he looks like he's nodding along to whatever you're saying, you know, like.
And then we got Meiji here, like like yeah, I'm cool. I'm the cool one. We've got the two brothers here because it's like they always have to be next to each other.
Yeah,
because siblings.
you can't separate them now. No.
Yeah, Ai is looking very thoughtful. Like
he's thinking. He's thinking. Let him think.
Let him think.
He had like his new input has to load. Pictures being taken. Namada just looks chill. You know, he's like
looks great.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
Kamu, I mean, I'm sure you have lots of Kamu. He's like, yeah, I'm that guy. Ren looks like flirtatious with he's got a wink because he's the sexy one gotta do the sexy wink. These two, because they have the same birthday, I mean, they're gonna do like the same. And like Sho actually looks kind of tall here. He doesn't look like
okay, that's one way to put it.
He's on a stool, obviously, but
you
like,
can tell.
You can tell Red has his leg up, but we won't say anything. And then Masato looks
really good.
He looks really good. Like he doesn't look as like traditionally posed.
He looks very relaxed.
He looks
very relaxed, and it's really nice.
This man has finally relaxed.
No.
He's finally relaxed. I
think. I'd hope.
I hope.
Yeah. No. Masato's story is interesting. I feel like, because he's like from the traditional side of things, and he's like super traditional. But it's like obviously like more of that. He wants to like expand his like horizons.
Yeah.
Oh my god, can you imagine dudes for doing weddings? Oh my god.
Well, they did do the rings, did they not?
They did I have Tokyo's ring.
Me too. I have Kamu's and I have Masato's ring.
The only thing I will say about those rings is they're kind of shitty.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're not made for like normal people fingers. Like look at my hand. I have like a baby hand looking baby hand, I guess.
Yeah.
My fingers aren't fat, but like they're kind of not, and they're not like that chunky.
They're not
but,
Japanese
like,
size, basically.
I don't have a slender Japanese girl hand, guys. So like, one of the fucking rings broke.
No, that's
my god.
Yeah, I'm so mad. It's still in the box. It's in the box. The other one, it's not broken yet. It's because they're also like made out of like plasticky kind of metal. I don't know how
they turn your finger green eventually.
They turn your finger green. Like you can adjust the size, but if you do it too much, you can just
then it would rip it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what happened to one of those. But the box is really pretty. They're super nice. I wish I had Ren's, but I only have Tokyo's.
I try really hard to be careful with my rings because I do like to wear them often. And I mean, at this point, I kind of, the green finger is kind of just with the territory. But like, I try to really hard to be very cautious of like making sure that I'm not wearing it. Like, if I have to go to the bathroom, I take them off before I even head into the bathroom. And then I make sure to wait a couple of minutes after the bathroom break to, make sure my hands are really, really, really dry before I put the rings back on, like try not to expose them to as much moisture as possible,
Yeah.
and to try to at least, take care of it. But like they're $30 rings,
Yeah,
so like
and they come
there's
in a
only
nice
so much you can do.
box.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I want to try to fix the other one because, like, I'm sure I can fix it. It's just
Yeah.
like I don't have time to fix it because I have other things to do, and I'm just gonna leave it in this box. But I do wear the other one sometimes, because it does turn your finger green. But I do wear it on my ring finger
Yeah, of
because
course, me too.
Oh,
that's what
of
it's
course.
for.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly what it's
Yeah.
for.
I like he like
Yeah.
I'm his.
No, we're
we're married.
We're
Like,
married.
Like I'm married to Tokia like all the time, and then Ren sometimes because Ren's my second favorite. Like, I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, I have like I have lots of husbandos, but they're not all like husbando status, like husband status. Some of them are like boyfriend status or like baby daddy status. Even though I have no children, but some people. Some of them would be like, I would have let that man be my baby daddy. Like, I would have that man's
Let's
child.
go.
Okay.
Let's go, best friend. Yeah.
That would actually, now that you bring that up, I think it would really be, as an idea for another episode, we could probably incorporate, the Yume Joshis and
I think that is
Udapri.
also a potential episode already. Is
Yes.
it not? Yeah.
It is a potential
Yeah.
episode. However, we don't have to have just one. We can have multiple ones.
Right.
But
yeah.
that is something that I would love to hear. So, I mean, if you guys want to be in the chat, you're more than welcome to be in the chat during the episode. But I do have
I'm definitely gonna be there for the
There's people I'm talking
sure.
to about Yume stuff. So we can definitely do them first because they're very much into the Yume culture of everything, specifically with Utapri.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm excited, but again, my list of like my harem of 2D men, it's not limited to Utapri characters. There's lots of characters.
Oh no, same.
But like Tokia is one of my like husbands because I've been with him for a very long time.
Yeah. No, let's. Wait. I just realized it's almost 3 hours.
No, we've been going on 3 hours. So
no. If you have one more thing you want to talk about, it's fine, and then we can.
No, I was just gonna. No, what was gonna happen is we were like, actually, Bestie, let's talk about your Yume with Tokia. What's going on with you and him? And then I just looked at the timer, and I was like, wait, no, it's almost 3 hours.
I mean, our relationship right now is like.
Tell me everything.
I would say when I first got into Utapri, it was like very like, oh my god, like I think about this man constantly, like he's all I think about. And then after a few years, it was like, okay, like Tokia, he's like one of my number ones, but like I have new guys coming in,
interesting
into my life. So like we're married, and it's great, but he's not my main husbando right now.
You got your side pieces.
Tell him.
That's okay.
Yes. No, Tokia knows
we'll have our side pieces. No shame.
We're married and everything. Like I have a really nice eat a bag of him and everything.
Yeah.
But he's not my main husband right now. Doesn't mean he's not one of my husbands.
Yeah. Don't love him any less. Absolutely.
Yes. But right now, it's also because like I have the Tokia body pillow, like the L-shaped one that they have of them sleeping.
Yep.
I need to wash that, so it's not on my bed right now. Right now my main husbando is Lucifer from Obey Me. He's like my number one husbando right now. He is one of my husbands too, but Tokia was like the original like husbando for me.
Oh.
So he's like still up there, and Ren is like slowly getting up there too. I would say we're more like engaged right now.
Oh, congratulations!
Okay.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then with any other Utapri characters, well, I mean, I like Ramaru a lot. I would say we're just like boyfriend. He's like a boyfriend.
Okay.
Neji too is like a boyfriend to me.
Hmm.
I mean, he's one of the ones that has a car, so.
Mia's dating half. Mia's
Ren.
dating half of Shining Age.
I like you, Maya. You're great. Yes, he is good.
Don't forget, Ren has a car. He drives.
He does have a car.
Yes,
He's the only man in Stars that can drive too.
Yeah.
You know, I really appreciate him more after watching the Stars Tours special. I still haven't seen stuff. Because I'm like, this poor man, he's probably like the only one out of all 7 of them that has a driver's license. So I'm like, this man is driving the entire trip. I feel so bad. His his legs
I'm sure
are
he
asleep.
likes it though. It's his thing.
Yeah, and I did like in Star Tours. I'm like, oh, Daddy's in like the front is driving, and Mommy is in like the passenger seat. It's Tokyo. So I'm like, oh, I have like it's Mommy and Daddy like right there. Like they're the mom and dad of the fucking group.
Yeah. They truly are.
They truly are. But anyway, I mean, yeah. So I would say I'm kind of like in that Yume culture. But like, you know,
There's no specific way to enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's whatever you like enjoy it is your way of enjoying it. There's no
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I definitely like when I see new Tokyo stuff, I'm like, oh, I want that. I want to get that. But it's been a while because I haven't shopped on Ami Ami in a while.
Yeah.
And all those with the pre-orders on Ami Ami go like that. It's really hard to get them. But I might look again. Cause you know, I'm trying to introduce one of my friends to the pre. We've only watched season 1. And I remember being like, so who's your favorite so far? And her being like, I've barely been introduced to them like every episode. She still doesn't know who she likes yet. And I'm like, I'm waiting. I am waiting for us to like finish a different show so I can be like, can we add Utapri back into like the lineup of us watching stuff together? Because we need to watch season 2. And season 2 is like my favorite season of Utapri. Because 2000% is like my favorite group song out of all the anime group songs because of all of the dancing and the costumes. So I'm like, I really want to watch season 2 of the
Yeah.
But yeah, I still haven't seen Stars Tours because
the actual movie. Yeah,
I haven't seen the movie. I've seen it.
Hopefully,
I saw some clips because TikTok spoiled me. But I liked what I saw, so I'm. That's some more Utapri news. I'm still waiting to watch Stars Tours, and hopefully we get a streaming date soon because I really
for High Dive.
High Dive. I really just want to sit and watch it.
Yeah, because I know
I want the subtitles. I want to see what they're saying.
Yeah,
is the thing.
Because I know SSS is doing Love and Dream is doing a Unext streaming period now. Well, I don't know if now specifically, but in the near future, and I think Stars Tours had their Unext streaming period already.
That's the one with like Night Dream and Daydream, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I saw that at Anime Expo.
Yeah, they're having a Unext streaming period, so
and that was fun. I wish I had a fucking pen light when I saw that shit, but I did not go to the booth beforehand. So I got the pen light afterwards. So that's why I really wanted Stars Tours to come here so I could use my pen light, and it did not. So I'll probably just watch it when we can stream it on High Dive and be alone here in my room and just like use my pen light by myself.
Actually, it sounds like a good time. Yeah,
it is. Honestly, like, yeah. After I look up all the Quizpree stuff, I'm gonna pop in my Blu-ray of the 6 Alive, or my DVD rather. And then I'll probably like watch 5 minutes of it, and then my eyes are gonna get tired, and so I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to watch the rest of it. So it's been a long.
Fair. Well,
Anyway, is there anything you guys want to mention? Any other ideas you have before we end? Because
I know.
I'm glad we finished. That's all that matters. I'm glad y'all are.
I know.
Because look at this is what I want the podcast to be. So we're just talking, and it's organic
and honestly,
great.
the time flew by so fast. Like I genuinely can't even believe it's been 3 hours now,
I
and we're
know.
now still going over
You
3.
know.
And
And
so
you know what?
yeah,
That's the best thing about doing it, like running it how I want to, because we can go on forever if you want to. I mean, I know we're not going to,
We
but
have
you know,
to
in theory,
stop, yeah.
if I were to stream on a Saturday instead, and we had like all afternoon to do it, of course I would do it. But
You're right.
but we need episodes. Is the
we need content, baby.
Instead of the long streaming times.
Yes. So yeah, is there anything you don't want to mention?
Not currently. No, I think give us some time. We can
Okay.
probably find more topics.
Well, again, I'm excited to do some reviews of Gekidan Shining, because this is not the last we're going to talk about Gekidan Shining. This was just the intro. Continuation to the introduction. So we'll talk about it at a later for a later date. But I do want to thank y'all for joining me again. I really appreciate it. It's been so much fun.
What better to do on a Friday
night? I'm
kind
of sad we have to end it, but we do have to end it someday.
Yes,
but I am kind of sad. Yeah,
I am sad, but I'm also tired.
No, absolutely. Rest is also very important.
Yeah, it's also important, and of course, I mean, we can always chat in the DMs.
Yeah,
we can have a nice little group chat. I'm definitely down to be in a group chat, of course.
Yeah,
I love talking with y'all.
Thank you for having us again.
Of course, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it, and I thank everyone in the chat. Maya, you are the real MVP. You come to every
you
are
amazing. Thank you for being here.
You are so
every
fun.
Time.
Yes, and I thank anybody watching the VOD. After it's posted, and tell me what you think of our ideas for future episodes, and of course, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna compile any news between now and the next episode related to Utapri, because at some point they have to make that fucking Dolce Vita game.
Like, oh my god, there has to be like a breaking news podcast, like breaking news, Dolce Vita is happening.
Like they need to announce something. Like, Jesus Christ, guys, it's been what, 4 years?
No,
or 5 years at this point since they announced that.
It's been way more than that. Yeah,
if they were making it, it's been a long time. So yeah. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, but I will announce the next episode topic. Hopefully it's gonna be a Yuma episode. But I just need to work out like the scheduling with my future guests. But of course, this will not be the last that we see of Mimi and Mina here on the podcast. Y'all are always welcome to come back whenever you'd like. And I can't wait to experience Gekidan Shining. We're definitely gonna plan that out, because I do want to watch them and I'm
thoughts. Here for you as your Gekidan Shining.
Yes,
you need anything, I will provide. You don't even need to worry about it.
Awesome.
So
I appreciate that, because I wouldn't know where to start. Again, if anyone has any way of getting the quiz prees, please let me know. I would love to do
final call.
Final call. Like, please, I am begging anyone, if you could find quiz pre without like dead links or like crappy videos where it's like, this is part 1 of 3, and then I can't find the other 2 parts.
Yeah.
So please, if you could find, if anyone can find those and get them to me, and I can watch them, talk about them, I would love to do that. Can't stream that because, of course, I'm gonna get copyright strike. It's gonna get taken down very fast. So that's why we don't show clips here, unfortunately.
Right.
I don't even think I can show clips from like of the videos that are on YouTube, like the official videos, because they'll get taken down. So anyway, thank everyone for joining. This has been Utano Podcast. I really am loving everything that's been going on, and hopefully we can expand and do more things with this as we go along. If anyone wants to shout out ideas of how I can maybe market it better, I'm all ears. I would love to produce this podcast in a fancier way, but I'm just doing this from my bedroom.
You gotta start somewhere.
Exactly.
So I can't wait for the next episode. Again, just check out my Twitter. All of the links, all of the relevant links are in the description, so you can follow not just me but any guests that I have on the show. So Mimi and Mina are in the description as well. You can follow them on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I also have a TikTok, and of course, you can subscribe to me here on YouTube for future episodes and unboxings and other shit that I talk about. It's not Utapri related, mostly anime related. And I do a lot of manga unboxings on TikTok, so check those out. Also, there's a new anime men filter. And I've been trying to get a certain character to pop up, and he still hasn't. So join me in
your quest to get there.
In my quest for that. And I want to get back to putting Utapri 101 stuff. I do have a little thing called Utapri 101 I have on my TikTok. Just an intro to all the Utapri characters. And I do want to add more to that. So in the future, we'll have that as well.
Yeah.
We've gone long enough. So have a great Friday, rest of your Friday, everybody, and a great weekend.
Good night, good morning, good afternoon.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Y'all are the best. Utapri forever. So have fun. Stay safe. We'll see y'all in the next.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon to everybody.
Goodbye.